Blackthorn, your narrator here at On the Edge of Shadow. Welcome back to session 10. So, just to start everything off, who wants to give us an overview of what happened last session?
I can.
Blogbear, all
I
right,
guess.
go for it.
Well, we set off and we helped the babushka get some ingredients for her ritual. We had the disgusting disembodied finger in a jar filled with vile, disgusting things that we used as a compass to lead us to where we needed to go. So we went deep into the forest, came across a silver vein, and Blogbeer valiantly went down there and started mining it up with his bare hands. He broke his finger. Some words were said. Urine was passed. They got the silver, though, and they went on their way following the finger some more. And they came across this abandoned town with a church in there, which is where the finger was pointing to. Blogbeer was very uneasy. He didn't like it. He saw some demons, cross his vision. He was very, very freaked out. But Gilfek and Sheehan were just like, "Nah, whatever, you crazy ogre, ain't nothing going on here." So, being that he was too big to go into the church, the chapel, he waited outside while Gilfek and Sheehan walked into the chapel. And then, not long after they were gone, Blogbeer was set upon by a gigantic Hydra-like fish lizard man hybrid with like 4 freaking heads and giant claws, and it just came at him. And in 2 bites of his deformed head, different heads, Blogbeer was down. He was on the ground. He was out. And his curdled screams echoed through the abandoned town, and his valiant comrades came out to saw him lying in a pool of his own blood and this creature over him. So they quickly leapt into the action and swiftly dealt with him with arrow and spear. And as Blogbeer's life essence was just seeping from him, his valiant friend Gilfek, knowing nothing about barbarity, just started shoving dirty bandages into his wounds and eventually stabilized him. He's not dead, but infection may or may not set in because of the dirty, nasty bandages that are shoved inside of his wounds. Sheehan followed the wounded creature to the river and finished him off there, retrieved his magical, unbreakable arrows that he got from the Pike Lord, and Gilfek proceeded to go into the chapel where they found a white rose on a lily pad. And forgot, we don't have the finger no more because Gilfek threw the finger at the creature, so the finger's gone. We have no clue what we're looking for here. So he sees this rose on a lily pad and just assumes this is what it is. And as he goes to touch it, it turns colors from a white to a reddish pink or something, I believe, like that. And he didn't want to touch it anymore, so he just took the entire lily pad it was sitting on and came back outside and was like, "Okay, guys, let's get the hell out of here." So, not knowing where to go next, we went back to the babushka, told her that her finger is gone, and we only got 2 of the ingredients. And she was like, "Okay, well, I'll get the rest of it. That's fine." And so, Blogbear went about, setting up and drinking himself to a stupor and getting his wounds tended to. And Sheehan was telling these epic stories of how we're all awesome. And every young lass in the city, in the village, was, fawning over everybody. So that was nice. And now we are, this is the next day, I believe, and we are ready to set off on our another adventure now.
Well done, my friend. You can have 10 bonus advancement points for that description there. Thank you very much. Now, as Grant has said, it is the next day after you have returned to the village. What are you guys doing at, we'll say it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. The village itself is beginning to wake up. The sounds of yesterday evening's hunt being cooked on the fire for breakfast is kind of moving through the low mist that's kind of surrounding the village there. The you can hear she's kind of singing, kind of humming, singing, doing her kind of like her laundry, you'd assume, kind of in a wash basin.
Would Gilfek be back from his hunt yet? When he went out to hunt the elk to get the babushka gift and to make up for losing her finger, he found that she liked elk meat, and he went out on his hunt.
Would he have gone all night hunting?
Well, he would have went out, and if he got onto a trail, then he would have kept following the trail. But if it started getting nighttime and he got literally nowhere, he would have probably came back.
Okay, then he's probably back now.
All right.
We'll say you probably returned to the village some shortly after midnight this morning, we'll say.
And his hunt was not fruitful?
No, it was not.
All
you
right.
found tracks, but they were possibly a few days old. You were unable to follow anything substantial.
All right, so in the morning, Gilfek would be just eating breakfast around the fire and waiting for his companions to get going if they're not already going, and if they are already going, then he's going to be waiting for himself to finish breakfast before moving on and talking with them.
Well, Sheehan will be sneaking his way back to his hut, going from the back of huts and such and around the edges, returning from a night of a rendezvous with a certain young lady who bounced upon his knee the night before, and of course he doesn't want the menfolk of the village to know this because, well, he doesn't want to be strung up.
Are you just returning to your kind of?
Oh, certainly. If it's just after sunup, oh yeah, he's just now returning back to his tent, or his nice tent, his little hovel, just trying to get back there without being noticed with his 16 on stealth.
All right, you two awareness tests.
Who, Gilfek and Blog, or?
Ooh, I rolled double 8s.
Of course, both of you. And
I rolled a double 8.
Okay.
First double 8s I've rolled in the system.
All right, Grant, roll it.
That is a 12.
Okay, so
do I put a marker next to my abilities since I got double 8?
Hell yeah, you do.
All right.
So Keith, describe the state of Sheehan's hair as you almost step on him, on Gilfek.
Well, Sheehan's hair is it's not so much that his hair is messed up. It's back in its usual ponytail, but the braids and such he wears in are a bit loose. It's obvious that that someone's been attempting to run their fingers through it, such, and he very hastily put it back into a semblance of what he normally wears. His tunic that he has his under tunic, which is just a basic linen weave, has a bit of a tear around the neck, where someone possibly in passion grabbed it to pull him forward, and he has some very telltale marks around his neck, as if possibly he may have lost a fight with a giant leech.
Oh.
He is carrying his boots in his right hand. He, of course, is not currently armed, in an attempt to walk more stealthily and such, so as not to alert the menfolk. And, of course, he comes around the corner and boom. Good morning.
Where you been?
I
haven't seen you all night or morning.
I was walking the perimeter.
That's a deception roll. Come on.
Okay.
That's a -2 penalty because of that bouncing,
right? Based off of spirit, right?
Yeah, no, deception is cunning.
Oh, cunning? Oh, that's actually a little better. That's a whole 6 with a -2.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's obvious that it's like that grin on his face. Yeah, it was welcome to the perimeter. Yeah, that's it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the perimeter. Sure.
Mhm.
Looks like you got into a fight.
Well, wrestling match.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yes, it was quite the wrestling match actually. Quite vigorous actually. Yes. I need to get inside and get cleaned up. It's this is horrible. I shouldn't be out here looking like this. Must be embarrassing you right this moment. And he starts moving towards his hut rather rapidly.
You guys are actually all sharing the same hut, so this was inevitable.
Yeah, true. That's okay. Well, he goes over and like gets the pours some water into the bowl and starts washing himself off a bit, and starts trying to get his hair somewhat in order.
Also, Shihan, you gotta go around the back of your hovel as your wash basin was back there, and you catch the babushka's eye as you go back there, and she just kind of gives you this knowing smirk, but she doesn't say anything.
Okay, I just sort of grin at her and get the water and start washing my hair off and looking at my shirt. Darn it! I'm gonna have to do a quick, go back and get my pull out some of my repair kit, a bit of bone that's been sharpened, and start doing a bit of a stitch there. I think I just invented the whole, shirt with like 2 or 3 crossing strings hanging down. There you go.
The drawstring undershirt. Yep.
I just invented that.
Is there a stream nearby, like close by?
Oh yeah, you guys can actually hear it from the edge of the village where your hovel is.
All right, well, Blogveer will grumble, and he will move and wrestle, and all of the like mountains of like empty bottles of liquor that he was drinking and mead and everything just spill off of him as he groggily gets up to his feet, wearing just his underclothes. And he will proceed to half walk, half stumble to the stream to bathe himself.
Okay. Yeah. So you catch the babushka's eye when you walk past, and she just again smiles, but says nothing. But she shakes her head. She goes, "You boys going to be crossing the river anytime soon to chase down whatever that is? Be careful over there. That Atlantean encampment is that still scouting the area." She's saying it with a teasing tone, but seeing how much in disrepair you guys are this morning.
You hear from inside the hut. Yeah, we'll be dealing with that here fairly soon. Just let me get myself back into fighting trim.
Oh, she laughs. She knows that she's giving you guys a hard time, and you guys know it back.
Blogveer will be like taking off his shirt, and as he's taking his pants off, he'll be like, "Atlantean!" and he'll fall into the stream.
Oh no!
But if you do that, are you still wearing the bracelet that the Pike Lord gave you?
Blogveer is, yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. So as soon as your head goes under the surface of the water, you actually feel some otherworldly current kind of just form around you, and it actually pushes your head back to the surface, kind of like almost helping you back to your feet, if you will. Like this eddy formed around you to do that.
Okay, Blogveer is he just writes it off as he's hungover as hell, and he doesn't he just writes it off as I said whatever. He got his footing, he didn't realize it. He's fine, and he'll just begin washing himself.
as I hear the splash, I will come running out of the hut, yelling "Blogveer!" and run down toward the water.
Keep your voice down. My head is killing me.
Are you okay?
Oh, yes, I'm fine.
Huh, look at that. He crosses his arms, staying up in the bank, says, "You're not drowning."
What? No, I'm not. I'm not drowning. I'm not drowning.
I'm proud of
well,
you.
I mean,
I'm proud of you.
I can swim.
Yes, but aren't you afraid of the water?
He quickly gets out of the water as he realizes, yes, he is indeed afraid of the water. And he will grab his clothes as fast as he can and just run back to the village, stark naked.
And then Gilfeck will see Blogbeer running through the streets naked to the village. Look over there like, Blog, what's going on?
I was in the water.
What? First Shihan and now you too? Can't you come up with better lies?
I'm soaking wet, Gil. What do you think I was doing? I was in the water. I must have drank way too much last night. What was I doing in the water? Oh, God's help me. As he just runs into the shanty hut that we have.
Gilfeck will just shake his head and finish off the last of his breakfast. And he'll go back to the hut where everybody else seems to be gathering anyways.
Well, after washing his hair quickly in the water and swimming around just for a bit, noticing this lift of the water to keep his head out of the water, going, this is interesting. Sheehan gets back out, heads back up to the hut. Of course, he dresses before he gets back to the village. Walks into the hut, pulling the water out of his hair. Says, "So, across the river today, gentlemen?"
We got to do it someday. Might as well be today.
True. Maybe there's elk across the river as well, because I know someone likes elk from what I hear. Big wink. And
who doesn't like elk?
I don't know. And Blogbeard, thank you very much for completely ruining my chances of ever getting within any more ladies here in this place. I keep that sort of quietly. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well, I didn't have all my faculties this morning.
No, I don't think you did. So,
yes,
you had one faculty, obviously.
Yes, well, I grew it myself.
Yeah, obviously.
Well done, gentlemen.
So, Blog. Yeah.
Well,
I know you ain't gonna like it, but we're gonna have to cross the river eventually. All right. Eventually, might as well be today. Might as well get it over with. The more you think about it, the less you're gonna want to do it.
I wasn't thinking about it until you brought it up.
We're gonna have to go and just close your eyes and pretend like you're in a bath.
I don't like baths either.
Just close your eyes, pretend you're a giant oak tree, and the water cannot wash you away.
I've heard of bad storms that tear trees from the root and fly them across the plains.
But that's a storm. That's not a stream.
What if a storm happens while we're crossing the stream?
Then
What
we'll
if it just
cross that stream when we get there.
He just grabbed his pouch of his dirt, which is wet. He kind of squeezes it, rings out before it turns into mud. He just squeezes it, trying to get all the water out of it. He's like, I won't think about it. I won't think about it. As he finishes strapping on one of his pauldrons, I'm not going to think about it. Nope.
For someone who's not thinking about it, he's talking about it a lot.
He's talking about it, but not thinking about it.
All right. So let's say a good prep time for you guys. Should shower and shave in maybe an hour, and then you guys leave the village.
Yeah, about an hour to get everything together.
I don't know what the shave thing is, though. I don't know what that word means.
No, that's
shave. No.
What is that? Is that some new fancy word from the East or something? Some train they're doing?
Yeah, some train in the East, I'm sure.
Yeah, has to be.
They have to strip that beard off because I hear they use that as a means of wiping themselves there.
Oh, right, of course. So, Shelka, the priest of the Forge Lord, Lord of Bronze, visits you just briefly and says that currently this village is a seasonal village, and as you guys are entering the beginning of what would be considered winter in this part of the world, they are going to be moving to another section of the valley. So depending on where and when you guys come back, they may or may not be here. So he takes out kind of a wax tablet, and it which will pass for a crude map at this time, and he'll hand it over to we'll say Gilfek here. This is where we are moving to, which is south of here and closer to the Woodland Realm, as he looks over to Shihei.
Gilfek will take the tablet and just kind of try to commit it to memory a little bit while discussing things with him, and then he doesn't have a lot of room among his belongings for extra things. But he'll try to find a place among his things to carry the tablet along with him, because he knows that they're going to need to find this place again one day, almost definitely, on their way back, because it's always nice to have a friendly place to lay your head down. So he'll put some decent value on knowing where they might find their friends again.
Who has the highest grades in traveling currently?
I have 2 grades in traveling.
I have 3
and a forte.
And a forte. Yeah.
Yep.
They both outrank me.
So logically, the most skilled cartographer in the group would probably be Blogveer.
Blogveer, the cartographer.
But if that would be up to Gilfek, if he wants to pass the map on to Shihane or to Blogveer, as he does not have much in the way of traveling.
He will he'll pass it on to Blogveer. He thinks Blogveer probably have an easier time carrying this extra load anyway. He's like, "Here, Blog, so you can carry the map. You probably looked at a bunch of them, right?"
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a wax one.
You probably you're good with that kind of stuff, right? Traveling a bunch.
I've been around.
Keep in mind the map is about the size of maybe an 8x10 little journal. It's kind of like 2 boards of wood that open up, and it's got a wax pressed seal sheet into one of the folds, and it's obviously sized for a human. Now, as you guys mean to leave the village, we'll say your packs, we'll say you guys have 10 days each worth of provisions, and the babushka, Namira, comes to you. She kind of meets you at the gate. She calls for Shihan, and because I have a parting gift for you, my dear, as you walk by.
Stop. And what is it, Bushka? What do you have?
She lays her cane down on a log that's been used as a bench since you guys got here, and she takes out a bundled pack tied up in 2 lengths of leather, and she passes it to you. She goes, "I had this from a very, very old friend of mine. It once belonged to my great grandmother. My grandmother and then my mother, and now it's been passed to me. And as I do not have any children to carry it, I would like for it to return to the hands that it was given to me in.
We'll take the bundle and unwrap it, look at it.
What you reveal to yourself is it is a short sword. It is about, the blade itself is about 18 to 20 inches long.
Okay.
It is clearly of the fair folk, and as you disengage it from its sheath, its scabbard there, you do see that silvery white glitter of fey iron that bounces off of the sun and kind of gives that photoactive glow that you know that the fey ore has. Goes, it was like I said, it's been with me for some time, and I want it to continue the fight in hands that are not old and wrinkled.
I understand, Babushka, but why would you not give this to one of the young warriors of your own village?
We are going to be leaving sometime soon, and you and your companions are going to be protecting us as we travel south. I would very much like to think that my part in vengeance against this cult that's been harassing us and stealing our magics will go through you and through this into their flesh. I
will use this to do exactly that, to lay low the foes of you and to all those that live in this region, to bring back the balance that needs to be here. So
the maiden that gave this to my great grandmother said that the blade is indeed tuned. I have not seen this in battle, but she said that when this blade strikes a hard surface, a shield, a stone, or a breastplate, it'll ring.
Yes, they do ring quite beautifully. He takes the blade itself and walks over to one of the stones near her fire, and he somewhat inexpertly strikes the stone, allowing the blade itself to let off that ringing peal that those blades are very well known for.
And it does indeed sound like a specific bell tone.
Yeah.
Like somewhere between a G and a C, perhaps.
Then this should be this is a great gift, Babushka, and it will be wielded well. He puts his fingers to it to stop the ringing and slides it back into the scabbard.
She kind of puts that old lady hand on the side of your face and taps it slightly. Because I know. Just be careful out there. And she points this arthritic knuckled finger at the other two. That goes for you too as well. All of you. Just hands to the three of you. Just be careful.
Yes, Babushka.
And she makes a fist. I feel something in my bones. I don't know what it is. I just be careful.
Sheehan is grinning ear to ear at this moment, and that it seems almost like that ringing sort of buoyed his spirits a bit, and he lets it. He can't hold it any longer. He lets out a laugh. He says, "Babushka, if we're too careful, we'll have no fun. But I will keep this in mind. I will keep this in mind, and I will do my best to return to you one day, and to bring this wonderful blade back to you with tales of the things that it has slain and the foes that it has brought low. And maybe someday in the distant future, your descendant or your people's descendants will hold this blade as a great trophy of yore.
She nods. She smiles, but so don't have too much fun out there. We have work to be doing, boys. Again, accusatorily pointing at all of you. Right, that's it. Be off with you. I don't want to see you ever again. She smirks and walks off.
To work, my friends, to work. And
All right, before we get going, what are we going to do with that one? As Gilfeck will point towards the prisoner that we had taken so long ago in the battle.
The babushka, she's about 6 spaces away, and she looks back to the prisoner. She gives the most unsettlingly evil old lady smile. She says, I have plans for this one. She walks up to him, and he looks absolutely miserable. He's been out in the rain. He is malnourished. He hasn't been tortured, but I mean, everything else has been done to him. And she comes up, she smacks him in the face, sticks him in the mouth, and kicks dirt at him. I have plans for you, you bastard son of a troll whore's ass.
Babushka, language. Oh my.
And again, stands up straight and as ladylike as she can be. She goes, why are you 3 still here?
Oh. True.
We're leaving Babushka right now.
She nods. The stately old woman that she is. She nods, smiles.
Oh, that's a good roll.
Returns to her duties as the backbone of this village.
Okay. And with a 21, Shihan will begin singing a bit of a ride ditty about a young maiden fair and a mysterious visitor in the night and the things that happen between the sheets as he leaves the village.
Ooh. Now, a few moments, a few quick steps, and a few minutes later, you're on the edge of the Great Gray River on the Nemersian side. This portion of the river you can definitely ford. It is riddled with sandbars, and the current is quite slow at this time. Across the way, you see the fog is, the morning mist is thicker on the other side of the river, and the cattails and the river weeds kind of slowly kind of sway with that gentle wind. It's probably a 15-20 mile an hour wind right now, and it's close to about 72 degrees outside. So it's actually a nice, warm, late autumn day for you guys. You certainly could have picked a worse day to travel. What do you guys do as you stand on the sandy bank?
I'm going to hoist my pack up on as high on my shoulders as I can get it, and take my bowstrings in their waxed pouch, and basically make sure that they're cinched up high so they don't get wet. Hold my bow up and start heading across this river.
Gilfeck will start marching across as well, not saying a single word to Blog. He said, he says he's not going to think about it. He's just going to do it, so that he's not even going to talk about it anymore, and he's just going to go.
Blogveer will grip his pouch and close his eyes, and 1 foot out, kind of prodding and searching. He'll just slowly work his way across the river.
In regards to how deep the water is for Blogveer, at its deepest right now, it's barely ankle deep for you.
Okay.
For the rest of you, it may be knee, calf deep. But there's an easy way for the shorter members of the party to keep to the sandbars, and it'll, again, won't break ankle. Blogfear will sink into the sand and a bit of the muddier parts, but not enough to be alarming in any way, regardless if he's built like a 1-ton bulldozer.
As Blogbeard gets about halfway across the river, Sheehan will look back and suddenly get a look of alarm on his face and will say, Blogbeard, run! It's one of those four-headed lizard things.
Oh, you're a bastard.
It's a 17 on the deception on that one.
Blogbeard he starts booking it. He doesn't even look behind him. Just a look of sheer terror on his face as he starts running as fast as he can.
A few moments later, Blogveer's on the grass on the opposite bank.
And Sheehan is laughing.
Gilfrick would just shake his head.
He turns around with his club ready. Like, oh, you won't get me again, demon of the depths. He just looks around. He's ready to fight. He's like, what? That's right, you coward. Run.
It did run away. Sheehan pulls himself up out of the river, and that was a wonderful jest. Yes.
Yes, wait, what? Jest?
Oh, yeah, the joke was on the lizard.
Those are no laughing matter, my friend.
Oh, but
They've taken chunks out of me before. You should be on our guard.
Have you ever seen a creature with four heads laugh?
No.
If two heads laugh harder than the other two heads, it falls over to the side. It's just it's something to see. So.
Well. Never thought about that before.
Many things we'll see, my friend, and many things hopefully you'll see for yourself, and possibly even the insides of a few Atlanteans.
Yes.
Once you get to the bank of the Atlantean side of the Great Gray River, those of you who have wild lore, make a wild lore test, please.
I will be at this point putting my armor on, just so you know.
Good.
That is going to be a 15 for me.
All right.
It's a 19 for me.
Fantastic. Does Blogveer?
That's a 20. Yeah, it's 20.
Oh, he does. Okay, so you do pick up on the tracks at the previous column of Atlantean soldiers. This is the place where the infantry crossed the river back and forth a good couple months ago at the battle. So got this wide swath of tramped down grass and churned up mud. You see a patch of tore up grass that has two sets of trenches, almost like a great wheeled implement was drug or pushed across this area, and this area is kind of raised up and flat on the top, kind of like a table hill, if you will.
Have you ever seen anything like this? Blogbeer, Gilflick, anything at all?
I will say that you guys are familiar with what a wheel is. All of the cultures of the West have discovered the wheel.
Gilfleck will just kind of look at it and examine it and see if it has anything distinguishing about it that might give some kind of clue to how this came to be, or anything along those lines.
Would you like to make a lore test?
Yes. What do I roll for lore?
Lore is 2d8 plus, or what is your cunning modifier?
+1.
Okay, so it'd be 2d8 plus 1 then.
All right. Got a 12.
It looks like a siege engine of some kind. You don't know which one, but it looks like just one engine, like possibly a ballista or a catapult.
Can Blogveer make one too to see if he's better than Gilfect?
Oh yeah, go for it. Whoever wants to make a lore test, you can. Absolutely.
That is a 20. Again, a 20.
You can recognize this track as an Atlantean onager. Just one though.
And Sheehan has a 24.
Yeah.
Onager?
You can actually tell where the damn thing was probably made and what lumber was used to build it.
Then I will expound upon my knowledge to the amazement of my fellows.
It is a dark oak and bronze hardwared implement of long-range destruction.
We didn't see them use this in the battle, though, did we? We didn't see any, catapults or anything.
You guys just saw their infantry column.
Yeah. So
they probably brought these to deal with giants, but the joke's on them. They're not. The giants aren't going to be fighting anymore.
But what would it be doing out here by itself?
Well, I mean, look around. There were several soldiers here with it as well. They're probably using it to practice. I don't know. We can follow the trail and find out where it went.
Make awareness tests now that you guys are actually looking at the ground. See what's what here.
That's be a 13 for me.
Okay.
that's a 15 for me.
I got a 16.
Okay. Gilfec, you do notice the remains of what once was kind of like a FOB, forward operating base, that the Atlanteans clearly was using not too long ago. You see a set of some oxidized bronze tent stakes that were possibly overlooked. The remains of a handful of campfires, we will say 4 of them. And you find a crate and 2 barrels kind of tucked away into kind of a grassier portion beneath a nearby group of birch trees.
As he'll go through here seeing these things, he'll be pointing them out and calling them out, like, yeah, like, it looks like there's a camp here and stuff. And then he'll go over there and he'll see the barrels, like, what's this? Looks like they got a stash hidden. And he'll like go over there and try to like crack open a barrel or crate.
When you do, the lids for these things aren't nailed down or bolted down in any way. They just slide right the hell off. You find what looks to be a not a fine crafted, but a well worked bronze like crowbar on top of one of the on top of, let's say, the larger of the 2 barrels. And Keith, remind me, if you actually pound bronze long enough, it actually gets harder and harder.
Yes. It's temperate.
So we'll say that Gilfec, to actually make a crowbar of bronze, this metal would have been worked in shifts for days to make it sturdy enough for it. So this piece of metal that you're now holding in your hands is badly oxidized, yes, but it's a rather dense piece of bronze. Within that barrel that it was on is maybe, we'll say, the first one is full of grain. We'll say it's actually say barley. It's that full of it.
Does it look in good condition, or is it spoiled? Or
it's not spoiled, but Clearly something has been in there eating it. It's like a rat of some kind, maybe.
He'll move on to the next ones and pop them open.
That one will actually have a kind of a set of tools, like a log cutter's axe, a carpenter's saw, a hammer, a leather bag of nails, we'll say. The kind of like the tool belt for an Atlantean siege engineer, if you will, for general upkeep and repairs. And the crate, which is kind of longer than it is tall, has, we'll say, get your random table here. Ooh. You do a quick count, and there are 200 bronze arrows in here.
Got some tools and grain and arrows over here.
Arrows?
Bronze.
I'll go take a look. And you said it had 200 arrows in there?
200, yes, 200.
By the time I'm done, it will have 176 arrows in there. I'm taking a full 24.
There you go.
Hey, Blog, you think you could carry these for a bit for Shihan?
Maybe. I guess I'll go over there. How much would that weigh?
The crate itself, maybe about, crate plus the arrows, maybe 45 pounds.
So that would increase my encumbrance by a lot.
Where is he at right now?
His total is 16, and he's got 7 out of 16.
We'll say it'll take up maybe 4 of those.
Okay, well, I guess I'll hoist this crate up and carry it on my shoulders.
Oh, it's not big enough for both shoulders. You can throw it over one. Keep a hand.
Yeah, I'll just throw it over one. Throw it on my left shoulder, and I have my club on my other.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Bloodbeer. It can be very useful. I'll grab the nails, and I guess there's a hammer in there as well. You said.
Yep.
These could also be useful too at some point.
Hammer, 2 saws, big sack of nails, and tool belt.
What about the spikes for the tents?
Oh, there are 4 of those.
They could be useful.
There is a file, big wooden file that's snapped in 2 at the bottom of the barrel too.
Gilfek will take the crowbar. So how much is that going to affect my encumbrance?
It'll just be 1.
All right.
I'll grab the file and put it in my belt too, because it could still be useful. Sharpen arrowheads with it and things like that.
Oh yeah. I'm not quite sure if you guys are going to be able to take the grain unless you have a few extra empty sacks on you to fill up and take with you.
I think we should still be full on provisions, but yeah, I'll do best of the grain at the moment. Maybe a bit, just like a handful or so to, put into a small pouch or something to add to our stew for the night, possibly.
Of course. You can actually see across the river still, even through the fog, that the village is still breaking down right now for their trip.
Okay. Well, in that case, how wide is the river?
Oh, I still want to say it's about as wide as the Mississippi, but
Well, which part though?
yeah, right. That's oh man. I technically only have an experience with the northern Mississippi, so we'll say that right now because I don't want to.
Well, so it'll be a little too far to fire an arrow across, then, right?
No, you're gonna need wind. You're gonna need an angle right. That'd be a miracle shot.
Okay. In that case, I won't worry about it. I was considering writing a note and firing it across the river, saying, "Hey, there's a barrel of grain over here. Come get it." But So, but okay. I guess with that, is there any signs of like where people left, or did they continue on and go back?
They traveled. Make a traveling test for me, quick.
Okay. That is going to be a 13.
They traveled south and kind of like veered off to the west after a good couple miles that you can see.
And which direction is the Suncrest Valley?
Like directly west of you.
Okay. Well, guys, I think we'll have to wait till later to track down the Atlanteans that did this, because they're not going the same way we are.
Okay.
So, but you never know. We may encounter a few along the way, and hey, they left us with some good provisions at least. Actually, I'm going to take the barrel that has the grain in it, and I'm going to take a couple of the nails, and I'm going to try to seal the top, so I keep whatever has been eating it out of it. Basically, this might be something we can use later on if we have to come back here. You say we had to go back a few times back and forth to possibly help feed us later on.
Do you want to attempt to camouflage it or cover it up so you can double back and or retrieve it on your return? That's what or if you want to do that.
Okay, we'll just roll for that.
I won't make you a roll for sealing a barrel. You know how to use a hammer.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 15 to conceal it.
Yeah. You probably go so far as to lay it on its side in the ditch and cover it up with some dirt, sand, and tall grass, and then you're good.
Yeah, and I'll put a couple of stones on top in a certain pattern to remind me where it's at. So
okay. I'll make a note on your character sheet for that then.
Okay. I have a cache of rye. Or barley, sorry.
I almost said elkhorn actually, initially, but that's much older Paleolithic grain.
Okay.
But no, you guys have been gone from the village maybe 45 minutes. So yeah, you guys have the next 11 and a half, 12 hours of travel. Which way do you want to go? That wide swath of tramped down grass and mud from the column goes to the south and the west of you. And the Suncrest Valley, as you know, marked on that wax tablet, is directly west of you guys.
Yep. I say we head that way while the sun's at our back.
Yeah, we'll be heading west.
All right. Somebody, highest grade, says, how about, we'll say, Blogveer, make us a traveling test. See how good of time that we make here.
That is a 14.
Awesome. You guys get to the edge of the valley. Just, we'll say, sundown is about 8:15, 8:30. You guys get there about 7:10. It's dusk, but you guys have time to set up a quick camp. To describe your immediate area, you're kind of on a rocky highland. That's kind of covered in pine trees and firs. There is just to the north of you some pretty large boulders that you can probably set a camp up right next to. So you have some cover to the north. To the south of you, actually to the south and to the west, about 25 feet from where you guys are standing on kind of like this sandy, rocky hill. It drops off to not exactly a sheer cliff, but it's a pretty damn steep, gravelly hill. Going back down the path to the east, it kind of zigs and zags through the trees, and directly west of you, the path again zigs and zags down into this valley. You see what opens up to an old, almost an ancient looking highway that you can see kind of like snake its way through this valley. Across the valley from you is a kind of a split crag mountain that's got a deep gash that goes into the earth, kind of like a dried up fjord kind of looking thing. And that beyond there is another river that is one of the larger tributaries that flows from the west to the east into the Gray River. And beyond that river, we'll say, is about 20 leagues away. So as Arklanar is a flat disk world, you can just barely see this river out in that light blue, light gray haze, that curvature of the earth that we have here. Beyond that river is Arborea. So you're actually seeing the borderland between the Fae and the mortal realm here. There are a handful of rocky, not peaks, but large hills, not unlike the foothills of, say, the east side of the Rocky Mountains there. You see a handful of rivers, a handful of smaller lakes, but the largest lake is maybe a 4-day hike down this old highway, and just to the northeast of you.
Do we see any telltales of campfires? Maybe the flickering lights of them or the smoke rising up anywhere in the valley?
Make an awareness test. That's actually a really, really good question, Keith. Well done.
That's a 16 for that.
Yes, your Fey eyes do see that there is one small campfire in, we'll say, the eastern, crook of a forest. That's kind of like a fishhook shape. Just this tiny pinprick of light, but it is indeed a campfire. You do you crunch the numbers quick, that is a day's march north of the largest lake down there.
Okay. In that case, I'll turn my companions and say we should probably conceal our fire tonight just to be on the safe side. That could be a scout for Atlanteans, or no telling who else. And if it's Arboreans, they could be out here hunting.
Yeah, it's best to avoid conflict where we can, I suppose.
So I'm going to suggest we make our fire among the boulders, and if we can, beneath at least one pine, so the pine tree can actually diffuse our smoke a bit.
Sorry, I can't talk tonight. Keith, as Shihan is a fair folk, I am quite certain that Shihan knows the secret of the Apache stealth fire.
Yes.
Of course he does. Come on now. I can't top Keith with his Native American folklore knowledge. Son of a bitch. Thought I could do it just this once. No. If Shihan knows that secret that the fair folk have, you absolutely are entitled to use that.
Well, I know the Cherokee version. So
The Cherokee version. Either or.
So here's what he'll do. He'll find a couple of boulders that are fairly about shoulder high if they're that big. He builds the fire back up between the two of those, and then he goes and cuts maybe half a dozen or so pine boughs, and he lays them at the top above, so that when the smoke rises, it hits that, it diffuses it, so that you'll still see the smoke, but it will be less likely for you to actually pinpoint exactly where you're at. And as long as they're not directly in line, looking into those that rocky area, they won't see the campfire light either.
Well done. Roll me a wild lore test. As I compel you to use those Fey secrets.
That's going to be a 13 for that.
Well done. Actually, do get it started, but you feel that you probably could have diffused it better, I will say.
Yeah.
You haven't set one of these up in some cycles, we'll say.
It's been a bit. So, but as I'm doing this, I'm telling the other two, this is how we do this when we're out hunting and such, and how it works and all. So,
Gilfek would be very interested in learning how to do this. Like, he pays close attention as Shihan creates the fire, and he's taking on mental notes about what he's doing and about how he does it.
So, just for the sake of mechanics going forward, does Shihan actually teach them the secret?
yes,
Okay, so
they're trusted companions now. So,
for those of you who don't have the stealth fire, I would like for you to write down in your notes under secrets the Fey stealth fire, which is a wild for target difficulty of a 16. It's one of the Fey, mostly the fair folk heritage secrets. As you bed down for the evening, we'll say, go ahead and cross off one of your 10 days worth of provisions.
and we have barley in our stew. So,
Of course. Night 1.
Who's going to stand watch first?
I will.
Okay, good.
Shihan's gonna start. Ooh.
Yep.
That is 4 explosions on the dice, gentlemen.
A giant's kid, I'm willing to bet.
Return of the Salamander.
Oh no, it's a mountain salamander. No, I don't know.
Anything that is vaguely reptilian, guys, now is a goddamn salamander to you.
Yes.
No. So Shihan, in the first 3 hours of your shift, I need you to make an awareness test, please.
That is going to be a 12.
All right. Let's see. Okay, yeah, no. There is a goblin war party who's actually found your guys' encampment. Unfortunately, you're not able to hide your campfire as well as you would have liked. And but you see them coming up the hill in the underbrush. They are not nearly as slick and or quiet as they thought they were. They were not able to get past your Fey ears. So, reaction tests, everybody.
Eight and a 1, they suppress each other, don't they, for explosions?
That's a 9.
Yeah. Yep. So, be 11 then.
Oh, okay. There you go.
19 for Shihan.
Fantastic.
And I got a 13.
13. All right. So Shihan is the first to act. You spy 6 goblins in kind of a haphazard array of hand axes, spears, and those poorly made bronze swords. They are all wearing coats of either mail or wearing the furs of elk and or cave bears. What do you do?
I am going to look for the biggest one, and I am going to draw one of my new bronze arrows, draw the fletching back to my cheek, and let fly. And maybe may or may not have hit. going to be a 11.
All right, check the chat quick.
12. Sorry, 12.
Right, 12. Oh yes, that actually lands a hit. This particular goblin, you don't see him really as a captain, but clearly is the biggest one of the two, whether that actually has a rank or not. He is. He's wearing what would be pretty for a goblin, say a dark blue cloak. It's pulled around his bearded, toad-like form. He has a broadsword in one hand. Where does that arrow land?
Well, doing a whole 6 points of damage. It's going to take him in his shoulder, the meaty part of his shoulder, just below the collarbone.
You are actually going to lay him out and slay him. So describe for us how he bites the dust.
Well, in that case, I was aiming just for the mini part of his shoulder, but the arrow dropped just a bit, me not being used to the weight of these bronze arrowheads compared to stone. And it actually pierces his left breast, perfectly piercing his heart, causing him to die instantly.
He makes a kind of a deeper gag, and he falls in the brush, and his corpse rolls down the hill, crash, and it alerts the rest of his fellows, and they immediately charge up the hill. The next to act is the goblins. We'll see, do they actually get there in time? Yes. Two of the goblins attempt to have a go at Shihane. For a whopping 13.
Okay, by defense.
For the first attack.
It's going to be, they're going to hit me the first one. I got 11 for that one.
Okay.
Try my second one here. That one's better. 16 for my second defense.
Okay. Oh, son of a bitch. God damn it. Could you stop? All right. So that is going to be a 24 on the second attack. So the first attack comes in with he sinks a short sword into your thigh, we'll say, for 7 points of damage as he kind of like just grunts, stabs it in there, and gets a slight jerk to the left. And the second one is an axe. He slices open like the beat of your forearm for fat 2 points of damage.
That would actually be absorbed by my armor.
There you go. So he tears open your armor a little bit, but he does not get you. You feel it, though.
Oh, yes.
Now, Gilfek, as two goblins attempt to have at you for a 15 for the first attack. Alan, where did you go?
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted. Oh, I got 13 on defense.
All right, so the first attack lands. The second attack comes at you for a 19 on the die.
And that's going to be a 14 on defense.
All right, so the first attack, you take a 9 points of damage as a bronze axe comes in and slices into your, we'll say your left-hand shoulder. Yeah, that the thrusting arm for your spear. And the second attack, a dagger comes in to your kidney for a fat 2 points of damage there.
All right. Gilfek will
His
armor won't absorb all the blows, but it will soften them a little bit. And as the blood trickles out from his furs and leathers and he stumbles back from the impact, he'll quickly lunge back at the one with the sword that stabbed at him, and he'll lunge at him with a spear, trying to retaliate.
Go for it.
And then he's going to get a 15 on his first attack, and
That lands a hit. Send it, brother.
6 damage.
All right. You're going to lay him out as well. Describe for us how you slay him.
Gilfek will lunge back and plunge his spear right into his throat. It'll come back out the back of his throat, severing his spine at the same time, and then he'll rip it out with the blood pours out of him as he falls back onto the ground. And he'll turn around swiftly and strike quickly at the other for the second
You
attack.
attacks with the spear now?
Yes, I leveled my spear up. And that will be a 10 to hit.
All right. That is going to also land a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
That will be 9 damage.
Okay. You don't slay him outright, however, but he's looking real bad. Describe for us how you lunge at him, but not quite spilling his blood.
All right, he'll go for like a lunge at this one, and it'll stab like into his side, like he's trying to stab him straight through the gut, but he misses just slightly and tears into his side and rips open the side of his stomach and the side of his arm. Not enough to make his gut spill out, but enough to make him start bleeding quite a bit. He'll pull his spear back and try to assume a defensive stance, kind of favoring his uninjured arm and trying to like put his other arm back a little bit to avoid any further damage to it.
Well done, brother. He has currently a severe bleeding wound, so he's going to die next round if you don't do him in. Shihane is the next to act as one other goblin comes into, we'll say, close range at this time.
Okay. The other 2 goblins are in melee range, right? They're around top of me.
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right. In that case, he's going to have to drop his bow, and because I'm going to get that close range, at melee range, and he is going to reach down, grab the hilt of that sword, and sweep it out as he attacks one of these goblins.
The sword rings as you pull it free.
Holy crap! Holy crap!
Fey Iron is a +2 to attack damage. We totally skipped Logvear. I am totally a shitbird. I am so sorry. Shihane, hold on to that. I won't make you.
Okay.
Logvear. Let's hear it.
All right.
Narrators.
Well, I'm going to attack the closest goblin to me.
There are 2. The other 2 in front of you.
All right. I will attack one with my first attack. And that will be a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna be brutal. Go ahead and send damage.
That is 14 damage.
Ouch. I'm gonna say
Splat.
well, yeah, splat is what I'm gonna say, but you are going to take him and the one standing behind him. Describe how you destroy those.
How close are they together?
They're not quite shield wall, but they're staggered. One is like over the left-hand shoulder of the ones facing you.
So I'll be able to knock their heads off with one blow.
You're big enough. You're gonna shatter.
That's what I do. I
the whole thing.
cock back my club, and I just my best Babe Ruth, and I just come out and I just knock both their heads off clean, send them flying and rolling down the hill as they're still grabbing at their headless stump with blood squirting out, and they kind of stumble around and they fall down and roll down the hill.
Okay. It's not just their heads you're going to be taking off. You're going to be breaking.
Probably their whole upper body, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, rib cage poking out. You see some lungs exposed. Their whole body just wrecked. tore their arm off, like it's just dangling like on some sinew or something. Like they are fucked. As they roll down these hills, it's just.
As there's only one goblin remaining standing in front of Shihane, as he is spattered with goblin gore. Shihane, so what did you roll on that last attack?
I had one of my dice exploded 3 times.
Oh yeah,
giving me a total of a 39 on my attack.
You're goddamn right it did. You put a check mark next to your physique, my good friend, and he's not going to be able to stop that. So just roll damage.
All right. It's going to be 9 points of damage.
He only has 9 points of vitality. So describe for us how you lay waste to him.
So, of course, this goblin had charged up and got right in my face, attacked me, hit my arm, causing me to drop seemingly to him, caused me to drop my bow. And as he gets a look of victory on his face, my hand wraps around the hilt of that short sword and it whips out and up at an angle. And the goblin smiles for a moment longer as if he looks at the blade and up in the air and it's dripping with blood and at me. And he gets confused, looks down as his body literally slides apart.
Oh, there you go.
And he crumbles to the ground. And of course, over this whole thing is this beautiful ringing noise of a crystal clear bell.
All right, gentlemen, combat has ended, and Shihei needs to take a bath as soon as possible because the Axe body spray, of Goblin is now permeating him.
The original Axe body spray. Yeah, I think I got some in my mouth.
I should say club body spray,
Yeah. He reaches up, pulls a bit of goblin something out of his hair and drops it to the ground. Looks over at Blogveer and says, I admire your ability to kill things, but could you do it less broadly?
Come now, friend. The goddess revels in such things.
Of course, as he does that, he's like, and he reaches up to his arm where he has this cut. It's pretty deep.
Did all the bodies fall down the hill, or are they still one just laying about?
No, there are corpses laying about.
Well, Blog will grab one and just pick it up and just bathe in the blood, just like blood all over him.
Oh, God. All right.
He'll let out a massive roar. Oh! The goddess, she is pleased this night. Also, we should probably move camp. Between me screaming and the bell and everything, they probably know where we are.
Yeah.
Everything knows where we are.
Echoes throughout the entire valley. So anything that has been down here now knows that you're here.
Yes. We should definitely move camp at some point. So Shihane starts gathering up things and favoring that arm. He reaches up and gingerly touches the wound and sort of winces a bit.
Don't worry, friend. I can take care of that wound.
Yes, if you would.
All right. Do we hit? I mean, I'm assuming we don't have any clean rags. Everything is covered in blood. And
you just took a shower.
Basically, not on me. Nothing on me is clean at all. So I guess I will just do my best. Find some, tree twine or something, and kind of not tourniquet, but try to close the wounds. But nothing short of stitches. I don't have stitches, so I'll try to just wrap something tight around the wounds so they'll close together and maybe start clotting more or healing or something. So
yeah, you can find the wounds. None of you are bleeding at this time, so
that is an 8 on apothecary.
Yeah, his big hands are quite clumsy as you're trying to. Well, Shihane feels like he's just being fondled and manhandled as his arms.
Bloodbeard, it's okay. I think
Hold on. I almost got this knot done. There we go. And it looks all crooked. It is. I mean, it's tight. It's doing its job, but it is horrible. It may even make it worse a little bit. He might have did it too tight. Now just blood's just like squeezing out of your arm. Like, oh shit.
Nah, dude, it's cut off circulation to his hand, is what you've done.
Purple hand.
Too well.
I'll reach up and loosen the bandage a bit so I can actually get the circulation back into my arm. So, in fact, when Blogbeard looks away, I'll just take the thing completely off.
All right, so that was actually the first night shift of the evening. Do you guys are you guys going to be traveling this night to relocate, or are you going to be?
How long did Gilfek and Blog get to sleep before the goblins came?
3 hours.
Oh well, I mean, what do you think, Shihan? Should we leave now?
We can go further up the hill.
Okay.
And I need some rest.
There is no further up.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, move it over to like those rocks over there at least, and we'll see if we. No fire this time though. Leave that fire smoldering. So if anything comes up, maybe they'll be drawn to the heat of the fire and the smoke, and we'll just move off a bit so that we can surprise anyone who happens to sneak up on us. So
Gilfek will gather his things and begin moving off into the darkness, the rocks, a little ways away.
We'll say you guys want to move to the adjacent crag across the highway from you guys.
That sounds good.
That's about a 20-minute walk.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Do that and then try to wipe this goblin blood off of me. So sluice a little water onto my hair to get it out of my hair, and this wet, horrible sounding plops hit the ground at my feet as things fall out of my hair. And then I'll run some water over, or pour some water over my wound too, just to clean it out a little bit.
A bit of goblin liver is stuck in your ear, by the way. You pull that out.
I will pull that out. Flick it toward Blogbeer.
No, you guys bed down. Attempt to bed down for the evening again. I'll
take watch this time.
Okay.
The entire night passes uneventfully for you. Dawn the next day. That first blush of dawn lights up the Suncrest Valley. Who is the provisioner for this raiding company?
Not Blogbeer, I don't believe. No, not Blogbeer.
Provisioner? No.
No, I haven't provisioning either.
Oh, God.
What's that, Alan?
Gilfek doesn't have anything in provisioning at all.
None of us do, apparently.
No.
So,
You guys aren't cooking this morning, so you're just eating whatever you brought with for breakfast.
Yep. A bit of barley and some in some barely heated water, I guess. So.
The lukewarm water from last night's dinner. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's no fire over here. I don't know. We could possibly start a small cooking fire this morning just to heat up some water. So
I will make you roll for it. But I'll say you guys set out after. Do you set out at dawn, or what? It doesn't take long to boil a bit of water. So
yeah, just do that. Choke it down with some a bit of water to wash our mouths out and get the taste of goblin blood out of mine. And yes.
Yeah, so just for the viewers' purposes of knowing, a mouthful of goblin blood is like a cat taking a shit in your face.
Yes.
So It's not. The sun's not even up yet, guys, and you guys are out on the road.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a light?
I'd say wait at least until the blush of dawn so we can see what we're doing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Not normally going to work.
Yeah, I was about to say Keith. Keith's getting up ready for work.
I'm usually on the road at 6 o'clock, so
Keith just shut the driver door of his truck.
car.
Oh, car. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, truck. Anyway, a few hours later, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and you find what seems to be the unkept and poorly obscured campsite you assume belonged to those filthy goblin bastards that tried to have a go at you the evening before. Their tents are still there. What seems to have been cooking was a rabbit at one time, but it has been since burnt and now unedible. The stupid things left it on the fire. There are crates, there are bags, it's mild goblin provisions there, and this is maybe about 12.5 feet to the left, the west of the highway.
Go through their stuff, see if there's anything useful there.
Yeah, what is goblin provisions? What kind of food they get?
Rabbit jerky, we'll say. Some half-spoiled wild edibles, we'll say. Cucumbers, blueberries, strawberries, that sort of thing. But they're half-spoiled, so there's quite a bit of penicillin growing on it. Bread that's more or less used for building castles, as it's so goddamn hard instead of being edible anymore. There's a larger half-open pavilion that's got a table on it with a bunch of, surprisingly enough, writing implements, a handful of journals and parchments there, as these goblins were possibly having a tactical meeting here. The floor is yours to explore as you will.
I'm guessing the language is in Goblin, or whatever goblins.
It's Goblin.
So yeah, I will take the writing implements though. I mean, you can do some stuff with that. So
they are charcoal pens, and one has a leather-bound journal there, also sized for someone significantly smaller than you.
I just pick it up and put it in my bag.
I'll get the jerky and get it in with our remains of our barley we have, or other provisions. Maybe I'll get us a little further at least. And
I will say, out of all of the provisions present, you can get an extra 3 days if you capture these implements.
okay, so 1 day each.
Actually, 3 days for all three of you.
Okay.
3 additional days, so 9, we'll say.
Okay. Okay, I'll divide that up among the fellows there, and just look and see if there's anything else that looks like it might be. Is there anything anywhere in May into Mercy or anything at all?
There are a handful of notes in the mortal tongue.
Okay.
One of which is a requisition, a writ signed by an Endu Kaga that describes a command to excavate a tomb, a grave site near the Forgotten Lake. And as you do this, you look up and you do see about 6 crates with bronze shovels, picks, probably yokes, with big bags on either side for moving dirt away. So these goblins were digging for something here.
Okay. Bugbear, take a look at this. Hand him the requisition.
Oh. Yeah, that's probably some cultist that told him to do this.
That's what I'm thinking.
Have they? Can we see what they've been excavating? How much of a job they've done? Have they just started? Have they been working on it? Is it half cleared or?
The site is not here. This is just a camp.
Oh, damn bastards! Of course they went.
Well, let's look around and see if there's any path they've beaten going up to this tomb, possibly.
Okay.
So
There is a poorly scrawled map
okay.
on one of the tables, and from what you understand, actually, you know what? Before I describe that for you, make a traveling test. I want to see if you can actually read this.
Okay.
Since, none of you actually do speak the goblin tongue.
16 for traveling.
You do make out the X is where you guys are, and there is a dotted line that links up with the shape of the old overgrown highway that you saw from your vantage point the afternoon beforehand. And there's a circle on one of the banks of which you assume the lopsided oval that the large lake was.
Okay. So, what do you guys make of this? I think it's I'll sort of point in the general direction of where I think this thing might be. I think maybe that way.
I say we grab some pickaxes and shovels and head that way.
I would be interested in seeing what they were looking for. Before I do though, I'll look and see. Do they have any medical supplies?
Very poorly prepared medical supplies.
I'll hold up Blogbeer. Would these help?
Oh yeah, I could get you fixed up right away with those.
Okay.
There's a basket with 4 poultices in it.
Fix us up, dog.
Prepared is, I mean, could be anyone's guess.
She gets a
12 on apothecary.
Oh, you're actually going to do this right now?
I mean, the poultices are right there. Just slather them on there, rub it on there, you know.
That's going to take the next 10 hours.
Okay, never mind then. I'll just do it for later then.
Okay.
We will do that later because
Okay.
holy shit, that'll be done later.
Medicines have to be prepared, man.
I look over at Blogbeer and look at these things. Say, I'm not gonna have to eat those, am I?
Not poultices.
But okay.
No.
The Bushka had given to us to eat before the last battle we went through, and you almost died. And
Yeah, we weren't supposed to eat those. I learned that afterwards.
oh,
After
yeah.
the babushka tended for me for so long. Yeah, you rubbed that on your body. You don't eat it.
oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
good because it tasted horrible.
Yeah. I wish I knew that before. But no, don't eat that. No.
Okay,
No,
good. No. So, Sheen will toss a piece of rabbit jerky into his mouth and chew it, and so I guess you lead the way. So up there.
Did Bloodbeer actually just pick up that journal and then throw it in his pack and not actually look at the goddamn thing?
Well, technically, yeah. I mean, he didn't. He assumed that it was in Goblin.
Okay.
So he did not actually. No, he did not look at it. He
Okay.
did not. No, he didn't. So it's probably like, don't go there. It's cursed. You're gonna die. And we're like, oh, let's go. So
He
All
did
right.
put it on his character sheet though, and his things though for later to remember, right?
yes, I had the journal. I just gotta remember to read it and not just throw it in my backpack.
Okay.
Maybe when we get there.
That's actually been written down. Okay. What exactly do you capture from this excavation site, or this not the excavation site, the camp, I should say?
I'm getting jerky, so we'll have that for our provisions, and probably a pickaxe just to in case we look and dig for something, I guess. Although
Yeah,
I have
and
no idea how to use it.
Yep,
Pickaxe and a shovel, and we can put those in with the arrows if we have to carry them. Add a couple more weight to me, but I could carry them.
How is Blogfear carrying everything? He's got He's got a backpack or a satchel of some kind, right?
Yeah, he's got like a backpack, like cloth, maybe some leather backpack he's got, and then he's got the arrows on one shoulder, and he's got his club on the other.
Okay, so he does have a yes, a goblin-sized backpack on his huge person. No, well done.
Actually, goblins over his back and carries his
Yeah,
stuff.
it's been altered and modified for ogre. You know, it's like stitches have been here and added on and stuff.
Ogre backpack, thank you.
Yeah,
Hey, get Gilfek in there.
I probably could like a little papoose or something to have him carried there.
Yeah, one ugly fucking baby.
That's a gorgeous baby. You see that beard? My God.
Sorry, Alan. No. So you move on, correct?
Yep, so we take the food, medicine, and some digging supplies and move on.
And the journal and the coal thing, and we go towards this crudely drawn map and go to the dig site and hope we don't get killed by some ancient evil.
All right. So, the march to the dig site, as per the goblin map, is say 4 days.
Okay.
I'm gonna say those 4 days pass uneventfully. You do find there's quite a bit of big game here that passes through the valley. Rather plentiful hunting ground this might be, but for whatever reason, likely the Atlanteans controlling this stretch of land. The Nemercians, the tribesmen, are not hunting these grounds. You guys make it to this crystal clear, light blue lake. Similar describe it actually. Picture in your mind Crater Lake in Oregon, just without the island in the middle of it. And it's kind of somewhat crescent shaped, and you guys are on the outside like bow, and like that inside curve you see what looks to be a rocky outcropping that kind of like hangs out over the water just a bit. It actually looks like a dragon's head carved out there out of this big rock. And if you actually walk around the lake, it'll be much of the day's march. Actually, walk around the perimeter to get to where that dragon's head is, and we'll say it's about 9 o'clock in the morning once you get to the lake.
Does anybody else find it weird that their base camp was so far away from the actual dig site?
Well, they're goblins.
Yeah, well, true.
They might not have wanted to sleep that close to here, or maybe they were maybe they were on their way here and not yet gotten here yet.
Okay, that's true.
Well, maybe it wasn't the main camp.
That's true. There could be more goblins here. So I'll begin looking around for signs of footprints, traffic, like that. I don't see any. I tell you that for a fact.
Okay.
Hold a 1 and a 2.
Oh shit! So your eyes are closed as you do this.
Yeah.
You kind of absent-mindedly look probably under the wrong bush in off the beaten path, and
Find my own tracks.
right, of course. But no, you pull a branch of an evergreen tree aside to kind of look beyond a handful of trees. You're looking at the ground, and you find a pair of sandals.
Okay.
Nemercian sandals, and there are feet in them.
Hey guys, I found sandals with feet in them.
Are the feet attached to something?
I'll look up.
You follow the feet going up the shins. You find a pair of knees, a belt, and lo and behold, you look upon a Nemercian man with a beard down to his waist. He is clad in kind of like a half toga linen wrap and what looks like a snow leopard pelt wrapped around him. It's a fashion that the mortals nowadays do not wear anymore. And Keith, I need Shane to make an insight test for me, please.
Okay.
And as he is Fey, I need +2 to that, please.
7.
You notice that he is slightly transparent. Like you can kind of see the force behind him through this apparition.
I'll squint and look like, huh. I'll use our bow and poke him.
He stands there, this apparition, stoic and maybe with a slight amused look in his eyes, watches you as your bow actually passes through him wherever you're poking him.
With that, I will jump back and let out a yelp of surprise.
What's going on over there?
Blockbeard's going to run over there too.
Yeah, he'll go over there after hearing Shihan yelp out.
Shihane will hear this apparition with an almost too perfect Fey-wise accent. Good morning. As he steps through the bush the way an apparition would and steps onto the the tramped down grassy path that goes down into the lake there. And the rest of you see this ancient garbed Nemersian man, again, as I described, with a beard down to his waist.
I'll point at him. That. What is that? What is that?
What is it? Gilfek will stop. He's thinking about put a single foot forward, to move towards it, then just kind of stop in place and hesitates to move any further.
It's a ghost.
The apparition looks up at Blogbear slowly. Yes, of course.
Ah! Blockbear will go and hide behind Gilfik.
You are the most cowardly ogre I have ever seen, whoever you are.
I can't kill a spirit. Oh, by the gods. Don't eat my soul.
Gilfek will stand there kind of stunned. And he's he'll glance towards Shihan and
I
have
come
dealt
to
with a
the
ghost.
rest of you, gentlemen. And he's continually speaking in Feywise. Again.
Oh, Gilfek can't understand anything you're saying then. Gilfek does not speak Feywise.
Can you repeat what you just said about what he said?
He says, I've come to request something of you, gentlemen. Again, his Feywise is a little bit too perfect for being a mortal.
You can't have my soul.
No, can't have our souls.
You dismissively, I have no use for your soul.
Then what do you wish?
My tomb is being unearthed by a group of these foul, horrible goblins and they're taskmasters. They look as if they are themselves are shambling corpses wearing the burial shrouds of my people. They're going through my tomb and they're knocking down walls and looking for something. I cannot sleep. I cannot rest with this concentration and sleep shattering noise, and he kind of pinches the bridge of his nose. You are fair folk. You do not know what it is to die and to sleep the sleep of death. Oh, never mind. If it ever happens for you, you will understand when the living are much too loud and the spirits cannot rest.
We have something akin to that, from what I hear, for those who are truly ancient. But where is your tomb? We've come looking for cultists. I believe that will be the cult of the darkening face. We've been ordered to slay them and to bring order back to the land, for they've corrupted the ancient rituals. They've broken pacts.
When you mention the pacts being broken, he gets this scowl on his face, and as he is a ghost, I need Shihane specifically, as this is just directly asking. I need him to make a corruption defense test, please.
Okay. All right. That'll be the same as a spell defense, right?
Yes, but spell defense is sight. Corruption defense is spirit based.
Spirit. Okay. 19.
Ooh. Okay, so you take only one single point of shadow corruption as he glares at you. He just grumbles with this unearthly horror as almost that scene from the Fellowship when Gandalf speaks the black speech, and the light of the area just kind of dissipates away and the shadows become deeper, and he just growls, "What pacts have been broken?" And he makes a fist, and you see that the apparition's fist tremble ever so slightly, and guys, the temperature of this immediate area drops about 15 degrees in about 3 seconds.
The pacts between the Nemercians and the Reaper King.
So Shihan doesn't age immediately 10 cycles, but he has the complete undivided attention of this apparition.
Okay.
He takes a threatening step forward, and he points at Shihan, and he says, "You and your companions will fix this."
Yeah, you're going to have to stand in line for that, because there's already 2 other beings of great power that have said the same thing. So it's getting done.
But I don't think it's wise to talk to him like that. I mean, he is dead, and he'd probably kill us too.
Well, he's dead, so I mean, I don't know. What can a dead person do to you? I don't know.
I don't want to find out. Blogger just takes a couple steps back. He's back because
what's going on?
Sheehane's gonna get killed. This ghost guy wants us to do stuff at all, and I just shh, quiet.
Yeah, he sort of smiles, crooked smile, and looks back at the fellow and says, "We'll do it." Although there will be a payment that will be required.
He's trying to barter with the ghost now. We're probably all going to die.
That darkness seeps into his eyes just a little bit, as he feels a bit darker even than he was before.
A little bit too much, we'll say, creeps into his eyes.
Okay.
The apparition. Again, the temperature rises and the darkness seeps away here. You are men who require payment. Is that what you're saying?
We're saying that there is something that you have that we would dearly like to keep away from those who would plunder your tomb.
Surely it is my journal and my notes.
Yes, a book. That is what I've been told that you have.
Then
And that is what they're looking for.
when you when you go to my tomb, and he points to the dragon, when you go there, slaughter everything that you find in the journal is yours. I have no use for it. I have mastered these secrets long before I expired from this world. He waves dismissively as any ancient old man would. The journal is yours. Be gone with it.
Shihane grins, and the grin on his face as he turns to his companions is a little bit scary. It's not the happy kind of grin you saw on his face when he told Blogbeer that there was one of those lizard things behind him, nor the grin that you've seen on his mirth. This is a grin of a more predatory grin. He says, "Boys," he said, "slaughter everything." Shall we?
Gilfek looks a little nervous. He can't understand anything that's going on right now. And as far as speech goes, and then Shihan turns to look at them like this. So
That was for Shane, by the way.
What was?
Oh, you didn't hear it? Oh,
It sounded like
I
a
heard
predator
not-
to me.
I heard the noise. Yeah, I heard the noises. Yeah, so it's like,
predator snarl.
I knew it. I was
Oh,
like, what the
okay.
fuck's a predator doing? I thought it was coming from Alan's mic. I was like, what the fuck? He's got a predator in his house.
I'm thinking, guys from Florida. That's like there's bugs that sound like that down there. I think.
It does. It does. They do.
But no, you've just been given a missive from a noble ghost of an apparition of the noble cast of undead. No, take the journal, take the notes, be gone with it. I have no use for it anymore.
So yes, we shall go and slaughter these men and stack them like cordwood, and burn them in honor of the Reaper King.
Gilfek will look back at Blogbeer and kind of whisper to him. He's like, "Is Shihan all right? Did that thing say something to him?"
I'm not good with Fae, but I think some sort of something happened to him. Kind of went crazy, you know. But yeah, this ghost guy wants us to go in there and kill all the people in his tomb. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
So yes, Shihane with his big smile begins loping towards, along the edge of the lake, around towards this tomb.
If you take a few moments, actually watch the apparition, he just walks directly into the lake and disappears beneath the surface. Clearly, he is bound to this area and haunts this lake. So, quick the spirit scores for everybody. So Shihan's got 9. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Mine's 11.
okay. And Blog's got 7.
Yeah, I don't have any corruption down. I don't believe I've gotten any yet.
You guys have got at least 1 for the battle.
Oh yeah, well then I got 1 then. 2.
So Shihan has 3 points total for corruption, I think.
Yeah, I should have 3. I forgot the one about the battles. He has 3.
All right, so that means I would have 2 then.
Counting the Hydra guy, I would have 3, I think.
That I'm talking about the battle with the cultists, not
Oh, okay.
with the Hydra. No, we're talking the pitched battle. Okay, so I'm assuming that you guys are following Shihane.
Yep.
Blogveer is going to before he starts following, he's gonna get that journal out and read it, and maybe that's the guy's journal. He don't know. He heard a journal, and he's like, "Oh shit, I already had the journal. I don't know." So he needs to look at that journal and see what that's about.
You cannot read the Goblin rune script.
Yep.
Your fingers are a bit big to actually fumble around with such a tiny thing.
Oh well, I tried to put it back in my backpack.
Okay. It'll be again another day to get around to where that tomb is. We'll say, how do you guys set up camp on the edge of the river? You're about halfway there, we'll say.
Probably back into the trees a bit, sort of out on the edge of the lake, exposed. So set up a bit of a brush screen between us and the lake. So if there's anyone over there watching, if we have a fire, it'll be a very small clean fire for a very short time, just to heat some water to throw a bit of the rabbit jerky, some of the barley, and maybe some pine nuts into a bit of a stew.
All right. First watch goes to
Logbeer will take first watch.
Okay. The first watch. Well, my dice don't want you guys to deal with anything this evening. Yeah, first watch goes off without a hitch. No snags.
I'll go over there and kick Gilfig. All right, your turn.
All right. Gilfek will take watch.
By the time of the second watch, is the fire out?
Yes, it would be. Actually, it'd probably be out before I'm bedded down to go to sleep.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we've just got cool embers there. The second watch goes off without a snag as well. We are in the early hours of the morning.
Gilfek will go and wake everyone up if the sun's up. He's like, "Come on,
It's not up yet.
all right, never mind then."
It's another 4 hours until dawn.
He's gonna go over to Shahane then and well, he's gonna go over to him. And he's gonna stop and he's gonna remember that strange smile he had, and he'll look at him sleeping, and he gets kind of nervous about waking him up. He's like, "I don't know. He's been acting kind of weird." And he'll go over to Blog instead, and he'll shake him a little bit. Blog.
What?
Put the hand
Morning already?
Shh. You'll wake him. Get up.
Wait, what? What's going on?
She ain't acting funny. I don't know. You take watch, all right?
I just took watch.
I don't know. I think that spirit did something to him. I don't like it.
Fine. I'll take watch again. I just go and take watch.
And Shihan gets a full night's rest as the third watch takes us to the first blush of dawn. You hear the morning doves that morning?
Shahane awakens, realizes that they didn't wake him for a watch, smiles to himself, thinks to himself, they're finally learning. Good. He gets up and stretches himself and gets himself ready for the day. Dons his armor, does his hair into a slightly different braid to make sure it stays out of his face for fighting. Goes over to the fire, cold coals, reaches down, grabs a handful of the ash, mixes it with a bit of water, and coats both his hands, and he draws lines down his face. He's dark coal. He said, "Today we hunt."
Logbeer will go to the edge of the water and start splashing on his face and try to get the blood out of his eyes. So he needs to be focused, make sure nothing is dry blood all over him. He just tries to. I mean, he's gonna get covered in blood again, but he just splashes it on, tries to get some of it off.
And we wouldn't have recovered any health from our last fight by now, would we?
You would have gotten 1 point of vitality plus whatever Blogveer's spirit modifier is.
My spirit modifier is a 1.
So,
All right.
2 for the lot of you.
Okay.
And that is 1 point per day. It's been 2 days, gentlemen.
Okay. All right.
Also, cross up another day of rations for you.
Do we heal for Blogbeer spirit modifier every day or just for the first time?
Every day.
All right.
Assumably speaking, that Blog Fear changes out your bandages and tends to you.
Yeah, I mean,
If he does not, then that does not work.
no, he will. He will.
Okay.
He will. And he still has to do that Cultist stuff, but he hasn't had time to, I guess, yet. For 10 hours, prepare that stuff.
Yeah, medicine's got to be prepared. Otherwise, you're not going to be entitled to that vitality regeneration. So, how do you guys wish to attack the day here?
I guess we'll sneak around the edge of the lake to the entrance of this thing, do a bit of scouting to see if there's any guards or people on watch. Take them out and then go into this thing and slaughter everybody.
Okay. Do you guys want to sneak up on this place? Stealth?
Blogbeard doesn't know the meaning of the word.
Well, I can go ahead and look and get an idea of the place if you want some information first. Do a little recon.
It'll take about 6 hours to get there one way.
I'm sorry, what was that? I couldn't quite hear you.
It's about 6 hours one way to actually get there.
Okay, so I guess in that case we'd probably go there and then stop short of actually going into the place and then look around, just see what we can find.
Okay.
So,
All right. So we'll say you guys are about hour and maybe an hour 40-minute walk to the place now.
okay, sure.
And we'll say let's see. Grant, have Blogveer make an apothecary test quickly.
That is a 12.
Okay. Well, since you guys aren't doing a hard march scenario, we'll say that you were able to prep some medicine for the day, and you guys get your regeneration for this day as well.
All right.
All right. Shehane has the floor for recon.
Okay. All right. He'll, of course, I'll do a stealth roll for him real quick.
Go for it.
That is going to be a 19 for the stealth.
Oh, beautiful.
So, and he's basically going to try to find a vantage point where he's above where this tomb may be, and see if he can see any kind of guards out front or any kind of defenses that are shown up out front. See if they have any barriers up or anything like that, or at least how the place is arrayed.
The only hill would technically be the hill which has the that standing stone sculpted into a dragon's head, and beneath that is was the doorway into this tomb. It looks like it was possibly a cave, but now it's just a pit as these goblins have defiled the place. The dragon, which possibly could have been standing straight up at one point, is leaning to the left and probably about to fall if they disturb it anymore. You do see, you climb one of the nearby trees, and you see 4 more of these goblins kind of tucking into the afternoon's dig, and they come across what looks to be a big bronze doorway.
Okay.
It's
All
a doorway itself, double doors, one of which is tore completely off of its hinges and lays face down. And a couple of these goblins go in and out from time to time. So,
So
the
just
has been indeed opened.
just goblins. Do I see anybody else there?
Yep, just goblins. Clearly the fellows of the ones that you slaughtered a few evenings ago.
All right. I'll watch for about half an hour or so to get an idea of a pattern, and then I'll head back to the guys and let them know what I've seen.
There isn't much of a pattern, but they do go in possibly an hour shift.
Okay.
So,
but they are going in and bringing stuff out pretty much, right?
yes, they are removing dirt. It seems like they're trying to tunnel in there, and a couple of the laborers are bringing out big baskets of dirt, gravel, stone, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'll go back and let the guys know that they're digging. And they're going into this tomb. And I say we can, with a proper application of a few things, we're not going to smoke them out.
Sounds like a plan.
If we can get a big enough pile of brush going in front of the entrance, we'll draw all the air out of it and just kill them all inside, and then we just go in and clean up.
Sounds good to me.
You agreed easily, Blog. I thought you'd want more blood.
Yeah, there'll still be blood. Just less of our blood this way.
That's very true, if it works. Of course, if there's another entrance, the place will just draw air into it and just make it breezy in there. But okay. So I guess in that case, is there plenty of dry tinder around here, dry sticks and stuff like that we can get a fire going with?
Not dry, as it's rained a few nights ago. We'll say 4 nights ago.
Okay. So we can at least get enough to, like, say, start a small fire to dump stuff on, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I suggest we do is we need to go up there and very quietly, if possible, take out the goblins outside. They're coming out, and see if we can get a fire built. May or may not work, but nothing else. We kill the ones outside. The other ones will have to come out at us. So.
All right. Let's hear it for stealth.
Mm-hmm. Stealth it up.
Send it.
That is going to be a 15 on stealth.
Sure. All right. So Shehane makes it there. For the rest of you.
All right. I got I rolled double 2s.
I get a 5. Blockbear has a 5.
Wow.
I got an 8.
Well, to be perfectly honest, the rest of you did a pretty decent job, but obviously Blogmir could have been quieter. I'm surprised you got a positive roll, man. What penalty did they have?
Yeah, he had a minus. He had a minus 4 to it.
Wow. And did you add the test penalty from your breastplate?
Oh shit! No, then he's probably like in the negatives then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
6, bro.
Yep. They hear him coming a mile away like a rampaging wildebeest.
There you go. So they know you're coming.
And he was doing good. He was on all 4. He was like crawling on the ground, trying to be quiet, and all they hear clank, clank, boom, 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 boom.
I see him walking up, trying to hide behind a tree that's very narrow, and then doing like a barrel roll with all of his armor and stuff over to the next, making very, very loud noises.
Crash. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. So
Distraction. I mean, they haven't seen you guys, so
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, move away from Blogveer. Let him be the noisy distraction.
Blogfair. I mean, there are 9 goblins now in coming out of this excavation site, wielding swords and axes here.
All right. Well, I guess
Go
I'll just
for it.
yell at him. Just, "Ah!"
Make your well, actually, we're gonna say the quartermaster for this dig site is a goblin. He speaks a little bit of maybe broken ogre tongue, and he says, "What are you doing here? Doing this? Just you are clearly you are a bandit. You'll find nothing here. Be gone."
Why don't you come say that to my face?
I am saying it to your face, you enormous, ugly oaf. Now be gone with you.
Come closer and say it to my club then, you green fuck.
Well, make reaction rolls.
Blockbeard is distracting the best way he knows how to.
Of course he is.
That is a 11 on reaction.
The reaction for the rest of you.
There's 19 here.
Alan.
17.
All right, 17 here. Now, of course, the goblins go last. God damn it. All right, so Shihane is the first to act, of course.
Just because this is a special quest that I've been placed upon, I draw one of my Fey unbreakable arrows from its quiver.
Uh-oh.
And I am the one who is speaking. I am going to fire at him. All right, that is going to be a 15. No, 21.
There you go. And he got a whopping 7 on that. So yeah, roll damage.
That is going to be for damage 14.
14 points of damage. Oh my god. All right, so you're going to slay the quartermaster outright. Describe for us how you destroy him.
As he's speaking this horribly to Blogveer, he opens his mouth up to hurl one more insult at him after being called a green fuck. And an arrow appears in his mouth. And a look of amazement on his eyes as he falls back dead.
There we go. All right, so that is 1 down. All right, so Gilfek is the next to go.
Gilfek will come out from some bushes that he was hiding behind as the goblins begin to move towards Blogveer and run up and charge one of them. Ooh, that's an 8. Ooh, another 8. Brutal. So I got a total of 30.
Oh, nice. All right, so yeah, for a 30 attack, he's not going to be able to stop that with a measly 6.
So I got an 8 on damage too.
Ooh, okay. You're not going to kill this one outright, but describe for us how you.
It's a total of 11 damage. I mean, I rolled an 8 on the die, but the damage total is 11.
Oh, then yes, you are actually going to slaughter him. He's only got 10 vitality.
All right, so Gilfek's going to charge out from his hiding spot, blindside the goblin, and shove a spear through the side of his head, coming out, going in through one ear, coming out the other, skewered some brains on the tip of a spear, pull it out, and push the shattered skull onto the ground. And then he's going to, with his second attack, spin around to face the other one. One of the others, I should say. And he's going to get a 19 on that attack.
Yeah, he can't stop that attack too, so roll damage, man.
11 damage again.
Oh, nice. All right. Go for second kill, man.
All right, he goes over there to the other one and he turns to see what he just heard as his friend gets attacked. Gilfleck will grab a spear and thrust it in between his ribs and up into him and pierce through his lungs, pierce through both of his lungs, and rip it back out. And then kick his knee out. And as he falls down to one knee, he'll jab the spear through his eye and out the back of his head and pull it back out as he falls to the ground.
All right. Double down right there, man. Go for it. Now, Blogveer is the next to act.
Well, he grabs his massive club and he's going to start swinging.
Fireman, man.
He's going to start swinging. That will be a 20 to hit
Shit.
on the first attack.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So the front goblin's not going to be able to stop that one, and the one behind him isn't going to be able to stop it either. So roll for your second attack, please.
Oh, so that is my second attack. That is a 19 to hit on the second attack. Oh, no, 18 to hit on the second attack.
All right. So, no. So roll damage for the 2 attacks, man. You're going to be able to slow maybe kill all 3 of them right here.
That is 13 for damage on the first attack.
And the next?
The next is 14.
Okay,
So
you're going to blow away these 3 goblins with these 2 strokes. Describe for us how you dispatch the 3 bastards. Poor.
With the first strike, I will come in an upward strike like so, and I will actually impale the first 2 on my spiked bits on my club. And as they're gurgling for their life, I will come down with them still on it and smash their friend into a giant paste. He will splat everywhere. Along with them, their ribs will crack. Their eyes will pop out of their heads. There's a small crater where they used to be, and now there's goblin paste everywhere. And as I lift my club up, one will slide off, and the other one is basically cut in half. He's just hung on by his shattered spinal cord, and he's as I'll just pick him off my spikes off my club and throw him on the ground.
As you guys in the first 6 to 8 seconds have destroyed 8 of the 9 goblins that are here at the dig site, that last one is just dumbfounded, trying to process the carnage that just enveloped his fellows there. He's actually going to fail his attack there, and Shihan can dispatch him from whatever vantage point he's at.
Your mic's muted.
Yeah. Keith here. Your mic.
He is going to fire his bow not with the intent to slay. He is going to try to maim this goblin so it can't run away, but he wants it alive.
Called shot.
Okay. So -2, right?
-4 for called
-4.
shot.
Okay, this is with the Fey Iron arrows. So it's going to be a 13.
You actually miss with that one.
Okay.
He's dumbfounded and stumbling away, but one of those arrows knocks into a log next to him. But he falls down. He's just like his world has been shattered at this point.
He'll yell out in all 3 languages he knows, "Yield, yield, yield. Lay down your arms. Give up."
He's he just like sits down kind of in the fetal position, just kind of like shaking there.
Okay.
Combat has ended. Well done.
Well, with that, Shihan is going to go out and start grabbing bodies and piling them up. and grabbing kindling. And he'll be muttering something in Feywise under his breath as he's doing it.
What's he muttering there, buddy?
Something about taking too long, not enough sacrifices. We promised trophies, and I haven't delivered on them yet. And just all these little ramblings about this, about that, and about the wooden eyes staring at him again.
Speaking of those wooden eyes, make an awareness test, please.
It's going to be a 14.
Okay. As you shut the hell up, phone. As you're muttering these things, you catch out of the corner of your eye that horrible mask that you've been seeing in your nightmares, as the thing just kind of like shudders back and forth, and it's those sunken in eyes that yellow sap is seeping out of, like horrible tears. Shacks back and forth, and you hear this horrible otherworldly cackle, and the rest of the Reaper, known to you as Aramoth, kind of like shimmers into view, but only Shihan can see this apparition haunting him.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. He yells out towards this thing. As he gets the bodies together, he goes over to the one goblin and grabs a bit of rope and ties his arms behind his back, his wrists, manhandles him up, and starts shoving him toward the pile of bodies.
Yeah, the demon again just stands there watching you. Those eyes burning holes in the back of your head.
Okay. As he gets close to this pile of bodies, he begins to weave this rope in among the other bodies and such, securing the probably at this point somewhat startled and confused living goblin to this pile. He then pulls out his fire starting kit and begins striking a flame to this pile of bodies and
this one remaining live goblin. He figures out what the hell you're trying to do. He's going to try and get away, actually.
Okay.
He makes a very poor attempt as he is terrified. He makes a 4 to attempt a reflexes to get away from you.
Mm-hmm. I yell at him, if he keeps struggling, I'll just feed you the ogre and have done with you. You're going to be with Reaper King. It's an honor. You'll be one of his hunters.
And he'll spit back at you in Feywise. I don't want to be sacrificed to the demon horror or awful. And he tries and makes a swipe at you with one of his claws with for Christ's sake, a 13 for his attack as he's trying to like fend you off.
Okay. Shihan doesn't even notice the attack, so he hits me.
Oh yeah, so he's gonna come at you with his claws for 6 points of vitality damage. He breaks you open really good, and he stumbles, falls backwards over this pile of dead goblins, and he scrambles to the other side with a thump into the dust, and he's trying to scramble off into the underbrush. What are the rest of you two doing?
Logbeer is getting the blood and awful, the eyeballs, whatever, and he's rubbing all over his body, praising the goddess.
Okay.
Carnage.
Gilfek would not really be paying too much attention to what Shihan is doing right now. He's kind of cleaning his weapon off, and he's kind of contemplating to himself. He's kind of thinking, to himself about this sheer brutality that they continue to visit upon group after group after group of people, and starting to contemplate just how in the right are they when they're brutalizing so many people, even if they are goblins? But he's kind of starting to have doubts about his own morality at this point, and he's kind of distracted with that.
Well, that commotion is not quiet, and you guys are within earshot, so you do see this goblin trying to get away from Shihan.
And I'll look at the log, grab him.
Ugh. I don't even know if I'm anywhere near him. He's probably like...
Nah, he's on the other side of the clearing from you. You're closest to Shihan right now.
I can't reach him. She just shoot him in the legs. Then he can't run.
Gilfig will start moving over towards him, like running over there to try to stop the goblin from getting away.
Yeah, you can go to try and grab him. Make an attack roll. He's almost like floundered his way. He's a clumsy old bastard, half tied up and shit. So, he's gonna take a -2.
What attack skill am I using for this?
That's just an unarmed.
All right, I got a grand total of 9.
All right. Oh shit! He's got 2 explosions out, 3 explosions. Damn it all. So no, that goblin he's slick as hell. He's like he dips the hell out real quick and he's gone. that fucking bearded folk sized toad, all ragged, bloody, and then filthy. He's running like a deer. Shihan, it's yeah.
I'm gonna try to put an arrow through his leg. So try to stop him this time.
Which arrows are you using?
This will be whichever one I would get. So whichever one's on my quiver. So let me see here. I am going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a roll real quick. If it is a 7 or an 8. It's going to be a Fey Iron arrow. If it's anything else, it's bronze.
Oh, okay.
And it's a 2, so it's bronze. All right.
Believe it or not, I actually rolled a 2 as well.
Okay.
Illuminati.
That's 15.
Of course.
That is going to be a... Where's my bow again? That is going to be a 23 to hit him.
Oh,
12,
God.
minus 4, 19.
Yeah, so you're going to... we'll say you shoot him in the back of the left knee.
Okay. Yeah. So it's been max damage too, so he's probably bleeding out on this one.
Oh, max damage is what for you now?
Be 9 for me. No, 10 with a bronze arrow.
Yeah, you're gonna bring him to 0 vitality there. He's got to make it death's door.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll bleed out in 7 rounds.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to go over there, grab him by the hair, break the arrow. That's minus 1 arrow for me there. And I am going to drag him back to this pile, and I am going to set it ablaze.
He's grumbling and trying to swipe at you the whole time. But as you just literally knock the absolute shit out of him, he's very weak to do it. So you're like, just fuck you, smack. And he's dragging him along. He's just, oh no, pawing at you. And this Aramoth isn't still the demon staring at you the entire time. You can't tell because it's just the mask. You can tell he's impatient.
Yes. And so I'll put it on there, and I will call out in Feywise. These trophies I have harvested of the members of the cult who have been displaying the Reaper King's festivities at this time, and I offer their blood, their souls, and their flesh to you, to Aramoth, to the servant of the Reaper King, that he may be sated. So
a few moments later, you see these shadows just seem to appear. They stretch out from the shadows of the trees, the underbrush, the tall grass, and these shadows just reach out and take these these corpses almost like grabbing at them, clawing at them in like some insubstantial feast of shadowy claws. These claws of the darkness. Just they have at this this fiery pile of corpses, and the light of the fire doesn't seem to beat back these shadows. They're simply just too dark. And I will need, as Shihane performs this profane blood sacrifice, a corruption test, corruption defense from all three of you.
What do we roll for that?
That is a spirit-based defense test.
Be a 10 for me.
Ooh, I got an 8 and a 1. So the total is going to be 12.
I got a 4.
Oh my god. Okay. So let's see here. Shihane gains 1 more point of shadow corruption, while the other two take 2 points of shadow corruption here. As you see this this horrible act of what would technically be considered blood magic at this time, you slowly begin to see the darkness of the world and how horrible things have become even now in the first age of mortals here.
Is this goblin like he's still alive in the fire, right?
Not anymore. He was bleeding out, but he's dead now.
Yeah. So he's not sitting there like screaming or anything like that in the fire anymore.
No, he yelped, but he as soon as the shadows had at him, he expired quickly. And what I'm going to need is a brief soliloquy from Shihane, as he actually will take on the tainted state.
So Shihane at this point, his over the past months since he had encountered Aramoth, this constant driving in his mind of this thing at the very edges of his perceptions that appeared in pools and shadows and wherever he looked, we least expected it. His mind has just been slowly going darker and darker. Upon being adopted by the Pike Lord's court, of course, he had become one of the Unseelie. And this just further drove him toward the darkness. Something snapped when he encountered the ghost. He had been holding it off. He'd been holding off with humor, doing a bit more of the dealing with life. He had no true interest in the mortal woman back at the village. She was just a means to distract him for that night. There was no true desire in his heart other than that. And then the pranks had been just a distraction. These little things he had been doing almost frantically over the past several days just to stay the darkness off a bit. And when that spirit appeared before him and turned its gaze upon him, that darkness just coalesced. It seemed to gather, and the light itself from the sun seemed to get dimmer. And bloodlust just rose up in him at that point. And now, this anger he has toward Aramoth, he hopes to be that his desire for blood is sated. He knew it had been a while since he'd given him any kind of trophies, and he believes maybe this will help sate this horrible thing's thirst for vengeance and stop taking out on him. He sees an image in his mind of a word, of an answer. An answer to a harvest sown and reaped in one single day, in an unplowed field which increases without growing, remains whole though it is eaten. Within and without is useless, yet it is a staple of our people. And then that word is gone. Not yet. Not yet.
Right. Beautifully narrated there. Sheehan will take on the tainted state of rage. So under your shadow corruption, make note of that. As this coldness sets in, Sheehan catches Aramoth's eye, or you assume that you've caught his eye. And you're still witnessing these faintest shadows are feasting upon these goblins. Aramoth simply nods very, very slowly. His form dissipates, almost as if it is evaporating, which leaves that mask staring into the light, or what's left of it, the light of your soul. You blink and that mask is indeed gone. The temperature rises to a normal state for this day. You three are filled with this feeling. There is work to be done, and you cannot tarry.
Well, I guess we better go find that journal.
Yes. Yes, our payment. Sheehan turns from the pile of corpses and burned corpses and heads toward the door that has been opened to this tomb. Grabs a. Are there prepared torches by chance off to one side somewhere?
There are 6 of them.
Okay.
6 fresh ones, actually. They seem that they've just been made.
He grabs one and goes over and lights it from one of the corpses, and heads into the tomb with purpose.
The first kind of cave opening, this bronze door had been torn from. There is a stone table upon which there looked to be possibly a corpse was on it, wearing an ancient kit of a bronze mail fitted for an Emersian man of about 5'8", 5'9", about 230 some odd pounds. Kind of a heavier set corpse as the way the armor looks, but the corpse is no longer there on the table, and the armor is horribly oxidized, and the organic, like the leather, these belts, the straps, the buckles, have moldered with the cycles, and the armor, which is next to useless possibly, is strewn about this, we'll say about 11 by 23 oval-shaped room. If anyone has grades in Outfitter, they may examine the armor further.
Nope.
All right. The inner doorway has what looked to be like a bear fur privacy curtain that has just been put up recently, and it is pushed to the side, leaving a view of a right curving hallway. It's narrow, so Blogveer is going to have to kind of like press himself against the wall and suck in his gut to shimmy down in it. This is clearly for humans, so he's going to be ducking.
Well, he squeezes in there. He makes it work. A lot of grumbling and complaining, though, but he's doing it.
Okay.
She handled it with the torch.
Okay, sorry. She
Oh,
handed
sorry.
leading
Yeah.
with the torch.
He'll lead the way with the torch, so that there's light.
The next chamber, after Blogfear has a really bad kink in his neck, as he's gonna cock his head to the left here. It's like an underground aquifer here. The room is about 40 some odd feet across, and there are different stones, like hop skipping stones that you can use to get to the other side. Clearly, this room was a gallery of some kind. The walls are painted with petroglyphs and other cave paintings, animals of hunting, and some, you assume, sigils of value to the wild pillar of magic. But again, Shihan is the only one who would be vaguely familiar with such a thing, but he does not know the meaning of such sigils. Aside from that, this room is flooded like an underground pond.
Gilfuck will look towards Blogveer. Blog, I know what you're thinking. We gotta keep going. We made it this far.
How deep is it? Like if I try to test how deep the pond is.
How are you testing how deep it is?
I guess I stick my club down in there, ways.
All right, so your club, if you are
10 and a half feet
tall, and your club is probably as if you put the head of your club on the floor, it should go to about your chin or just under it. Okay. If you stick the club all the way into the water, it goes to your fingers.
That's pretty deep, Gil.
Gilfeck will see that his knuckles are actually disappear below the surface. And of course, the only light source is Shihan, so it's dark and quite foreboding here.
So you said there's stones to step on to walk across it?
Yes, but they are not ogre-sized.
Exactly. They probably couldn't even take my 1 ton weight. I'd probably sink to the bottom or break it or something. By the goddess. Maybe I can just wait here.
Remember last time you waited?
You two could just walk across easily. I'm going to have to swim. Not take my armor off, and then the gods know what lies down there to grab me to my death and eat me.
Well, Sheelhane will just dance across the stones. The other
make
side.
an athletics test for me then.
All right. Athletics is. There we go. $12.
And of course, he does it without messing up his fucking hair too. So there you go.
Gilfeck will realize he doesn't have time to argue with Blogbeer about this right now. Is their light source is leaving them, and he'll follow behind Shihan.
I guess Blogveer thought taking his armor off, and
Make
try
an
to put
athletics test.
all he can in the fucking backpack. And oh shit!
Leave the extra arrows if you need to. We can get them back for those.
That is a 11 on athletics.
Are you trying to jump across or?
Actually, I don't think I could jump across.
No, yeah.
I guess it'll probably be a swimming test then. I'm going to swim across.
Okay.
I mean, I'll try to put my weight on this little tiny stone that I probably 1 foot probably can't even get on. I mean,
you can actually get 1 foot onto the first stone.
so could I do like 1 foot on one stone and then put the other foot on the other stone and try to do like that? Are they too far apart or?
From where you're standing to the first stone, you can do that, but the next stone to step on is way too small.
All right, well, since I took my armor off and I left basically everything behind except for my armor, shoved it in my backpack till it's like full of bursting, I guess.
Okay.
I will just like have that and my club like over my head, I guess. Oh wait, I'm just gonna swim. I'm gonna swim across and probably die.
Actually, if you step all the way into the water, it'll come up to about your neck, and your head will be above.
Okay, so I can walk across the bottom of this?
It is daunting and terrifying, but you can do it.
I was like, someone just sing me a song. And he just closes his eyes and he starts watering through. It's like,
Gilfek will start singing a song, but it's the one he's making up on the spot. And it is a song about Blogvir and about him killing Atlanteans back in the war, and this is like their old war stories together. He just whips up a song off the top of his head.
He's telling a story, but he's kind of humming a tune with it.
Yeah. And he's going to get, he rolled an 8. So
not bad.
Let's see what he gets. He's going to get a 20 on that roll.
Wow. Bearded folk singing is rather pleasant, surprisingly. Blogvir makes it to the other side of the room.
It's essentially just a song to fill Blogvir motivation about himself and self-confidence, basically.
There you go.
All right, well, he gets on the other side. You can't tell if he's weeping or that's just water. But you can't tell if he's shaking from being cold and drenched or from sheer terror. But he begins to like put his armor back on, quick as he can. Doesn't make eye contact with either one of you, and just kind of mumbles to himself. And Ogrish just kind of mumbles a little bit, and then that's what he's doing.
Think of large-breasted ogre women.
Yes, childbearing hips, cleaning the garden, holding hands. We're holding hands.
There you go. So Gilfek is still back where we left him.
Oh, he was following Shihan. As soon as Shihan left, he was following right behind him.
Yep.
All right, you need to make an athletics test then.
All right. That is going to be a total of 13.
Okay, you just make it across then. You slip a little bit, but you can catch yourself.
As he gets across, I hand him the torch.
The next corridor is vaguely hewn stone. You go up this rickety stairway. Blogvir is just barely able to squeeze his mass through it. You're not going to be able to fight if you guys get jumped in this hallway because this is too cramped.
Like try to throw a punch or poke somebody in the eye or something.
Yeah, you can reach out and grab somebody and maybe crush them with your hand, but you can't
start strangling people left and right, snapping necks.
Or you could push them over and step on them, but that's about as combat effective as you're going to be. A few minutes down this cramped hallway, there is a cut hallway. Like it's almost as if the goblins themselves have tried to find a different way or dig in a different spot, but this is clearly an alcove that was abandoned, and we were digging in the wrong direction. So you see a broken shovel here, but nothing out of the ordinary. You continue down the hallway a few more minutes, and there is another alcove, much the same. A few feet later, it opens up into a big circular room where in the center of this room, it kind of makes a bowl shape, and there's a pond that the ceiling is kind of dripping into, so it has that rhythmic droplet of water echoing throughout this cave system. What looks to be a sleeping area for a few of the goblins here. There are no goblins in this room, however. There is a hallway to your right-hand side that has some supplies kind of around its doorway, but there is an archway that has a red painted goblin rune. Looks either red paint or possibly blood to the left of this doorway, and that's directly across the room from you.
Well, Gilfek is going to approach it and shine the torchlight on it and just kind of look it over, like, from the floor to the roof, and just look all around it and just examine
the room in general, or
anything in the room. If there's anything of interest, like he'll stop at any points of interest, but he's just kind of surveying the room for now.
Yeah, possibly a makeshift barracks or a sleeping quarters here, but no one is in here.
Let me go over and look at this rune.
The rune? Okay.
Yeah.
You obviously you can't read it.
Right.
But does Sheehan also have a light on him? A torch?
I actually only had the one torch, but as you said, when there were 6, he'll pull the other ones out and go over and light it. So I'm sure the other one's starting to probably go flicker a little bit now.
Okay.
We'll light it and make sure that each of us has a torch at this point. And go back over and hold the torch up and look at it.
The blood of this rune seems to be like it's been here for several chains, probably near a month. You know what dried blood looks like.
Yeah, but obviously not having been here since the original place was built. So,
oh, of course not. No. This place is clearly centuries old.
Yeah, I'm going to look really close to see if there's anything out of the ordinary about this archway. May say if someone may have laid a trap or a snare. So
go for it.
Maybe that's what that whole thing is about. So my awareness is going to be an 18.
You do see around the rim of this doorway, there's actually the Nemersian script, kind of like in it's chiseled in there. I was about to say a relief, but that's 3D. But they're etched into the stone, and it makes the archway, the door frame there.
Okay, I'll look at that, see if I can read it.
It is in an alphabet that they do not use anymore. It's the alphabet that you're not familiar with. If they are, however, enchanted, they are not anymore. The Duomer has since long been dead.
Okay. In case you'll step through the archway.
The light enters the room before you do. You see the remains of what once was a warden's study. Thoroughly ransacked, however.
That's okay. I'm calling the other two. Hey, come and look at this.
Gilfek will go in as well.
Yep, Blog will too.
Sheehan, you will see against the far wall there was once pegs nailed into the stone wall that were possibly used to hang drying herbs, and the faintest smell of sage that permeates this area.
Okay.
There could have been a stone table or a desk at one point, but that table is smashed against the wall. There's an archway opposite this table up on your far right-hand side. And this archway goes, you can see goes down into kind of like a pit, kind of a basin shape but the darkness obscures that area currently.
Okay, I'll put the torch into there just so I can light it up.
You see a pit it's more a kind of like a big wash bin. It's about 8 feet wide by about 3.5 feet deep, and it is full of animal bones.
Well,
Anything from wolves to cave bears, hunting cats. You see a mammoth skull. How the hell did they get that in here? Any animal that you have seen in the forest, the bones of its skeleton are in this pool.
is it like a pool with? Is it like filling up in place of water, or is there water in there as well? Or
There's
dry?
it's completely dry. It's just
Okay.
a dump, a burial ground for so many animals. And make an intuition test for me, please. As soon as Shihan gets over there, I need the other two to make intuition tests as well.
Be 10.
Okay. And the other two?
8.
11.
As soon as Shihan gets over there, all of you sense the countless eyes of nature spirits. As soon as Shihan walks into that area and he shines that torch over this burial ground, all of the eyes of all of the deceased look upon him at once. And Shihan hears in his mind the countless cries of these long deceased animals roar into his mind at once. And then there is just silence.
Okay.
What little body hair that he does have stand on end for a few moments. And then there is just silence.
Well, that was terrifying.
Since the god Gilfex worships as a god of nature, is he not? Would he have any relation to nature spirits in any way?
Which deity is yours?
Azeros, I think.
Azeros is the lord of trees.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he has no purview over animals.
I don't like it here.
This place reeks of the wild pillar.
Sheehan will step back and call out to the spirit who've slain those who come to loot your tomb. Where's our payment?
You get no reply.
Grumbles about ghosts being unreliable. Don't have any kind of substance to them, so of course they can't be reliable. He starts going through things, looking for journals, books, scrolls, whatever he can find. It might be this book.
Anything of value here has long been pillaged.
Wonderful.
Seems we're too late.
Seems we are, yes.
There was one other doorway in the larger room, however.
Yeah. We'll wander back through and look in that one.
The hallway goes about 30 feet down and then sharply turns to the left.
Okay. Follow it around.
Just on the edge of your light, you see another archway in the right-hand wall.
Okay. Go over to it and just take a good look at it before I try to go through it. So it's going to be a 15 on awareness.
Okay. You shine the light in there first, and this, you're familiar with this, actually.
Okay.
You we'll say back home, you once had a friend who was a warden.
Okay.
And many Arch Wardens, as you know, are the backbone of their circle, or excuse me, their herd, as wardens call themselves in groups. And when they inhabit an area, the Arch Warden will sleep in his quarters, and the underlings will sleep together in kind of a barracks for acolytes. And you look into this room, and there are what seems to be like small stone lofts, like almost like bunk beds, if you will, but they're carved directly into the stone wall. These goblins possibly have ransacked this place, but there's gaps in the floor where dust may or may not have been piled up around like a chest or a footlocker or some kind of container, but there are skeletons of mortals. You actually see a handful of fair folk skulls in this area. Acolytes, when they die in their studies, they are buried together. Their spirit goes with the rest of the herd.
Okay.
This
Well,
a resting place for the acolytes.
well, it does look as if we are too late, my friends.
There is an archway that goes beyond this room as well, and has a stairway that goes up and to the right.
Okay, guess we'll head that way and go up and look at that. Just see what's there.
This hallway snakes left and then turns right again, still a stairway going up. You assume from the outside this is going up into the adjacent foothills. You're walking for a good 10 minutes, and the walls and the stone stairways are starting to crumble away, and you see fewer and fewer signs of excavation here,
Okay.
as clearly the goblins have not gotten this far. And you see the tunnel ahead at the summit of the stairway. The archway is collapsed in. But it's not a dead end. There is a crawl space just at the top of the stone stairway that Shihan could possibly squeeze through. But the rest of you are going to need to move some stones aside to continue.
I'll help them do that.
Is there any way that we're going to get this clear enough for Blockview to get through?
Maybe a few hours of work, and then he might be able to get through.
Is he still like cramped in these hallways as well?
At this portion of the stairway, it's actually vaulted enough to where he doesn't actually have to hunch over.
That's good. I guess we'll start clearing rocks then.
It's not enough for you to swing your hammer yet, or not your hammer, your club, but you can still stand up straight.
I mean, I'll take it. That's better than hunched over with a crick in my neck. So,
all right. Do we want to continue, or want to call the session right here, gentlemen?
I think it's a good time to end it with a bit of a cliffhanger, if you will. So,
all right. So we are going to be closing with some soliloquies. All right. Since Keith started us off before with his brief soliloquy, let's hand it over to Grant.
all right. Blogveer is, as he's moving these rocks out of the way, he looks down at his hands, which are covered in dried goblin blood, and he's kind of thinks back to that whole burning the goblin alive and everything, and how much shit we're in, and how much of the darkness he's actually seen out there, and how there's just so much out there that he hasn't seen, even though he's traveled for far and wide. There's still stuff he hasn't seen in this world or the next, and he kind of chills his blood a little bit thinking about that. And then this whole demons and spirit thing, it just, he can't deal with it. I mean, he can kill flesh and blood, but when it comes to spirits and corruption and all this stuff, he's a virgin to such things, and it's starting to take his toll on him, scarring his mind and such. He's a simple ogre. He's not a scholar by any means about such things, and it is really touching his soul in a way, and he feels it, and he sees it in Shihane, and he sees it taking its toll on Gilfek in a way too, and he just wonders that by the time that this road reaches its end, are they going to become that which they've been fighting this whole time, or are they going to prevail against this darkness? And as he keeps working and looking at his friends, he doesn't know the answer to it at this point. When he first started, he'd be like, "Yeah, we're going to win. We're going to be the heroes and kill everybody." But now that all this corruption is seeping in, they're doing some pretty crazy things. I mean, Blogbeer loves fighting and he loves carnage and all that, but burning people alive and torture and such is just not his way, and he's become accomplice of such things and has opened his eyes to more of the world and stuff he didn't actually want to see. So he has this seed of doubt. I wouldn't say doubt, but like he's fearful. That's just growing in him, that eventually, if they keep going down this path and they don't get this demon out of the way, that the Reaper may take his pound of flesh from them, may take their souls if they don't do this right enough. I mean, he already sees the toll that is taken on the Red Blade, and now he's seemingly talking to himself and getting more paranoid, and that evil, wicked grin just in the back of his mind. He sees that in his dreams sometimes now, and Blogveer will just grip his pouch of dirt and kind of rub it a little bit and try to think good thoughts, like killing Atlanteans and holding hands with his loved one, and try not to think about wading through neck-deep water and the shadows coming for them, and try to just steel himself wholeheartedly, but at the same time, his conviction is starting to wane. He's like, "Oh man, I'm trying," but at the same time, these horrors that are opening his eyes to him are slowly eroding his conviction. But he will just grit his teeth, and for now, he will bear it, and he will go through and do what needs to be done. And as he ends, he just tries to think about the good times he had with his love, with Kaya, as he would tend to her gardens, and the first time they held hands, as he just grit his teeth and went back to the work needs to be done, moving stones with fervor, renewed fervor.
With those happy and warm memories, Blogbeer can be spurred on with 4 additional vitality points for this day. And as he thinks about Kaya, I need him to make an intuition test as he is moving these stones away. Is that an explosion I hear?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Sounds like a few of them.
Yeah, that was that's 33 total. That was 3 explosions.
Damn.
Yeah. So
where is intuition? Oh my god. All right, put a tally mark next to your sight score, my friend.
that
right.
was
Beautiful, Keith. I don't think that's ever happened in the system yet.
that was something. On an intuition roll, can't do that on anything else. But I mean, holy shit!
Again, you try to bolster yourself going forward, and you feel possibly this residual magic, the dwomers of this Arch Warden's lair. You call up an image of your love's face, and something breathes into you. You don't know who, you do not know whatever gods that you pray to the most. That feeling tells you that she is near.
Oh shit! Well, yeah, Blogbear will be fucking like a man on cocaine or something. He'll be working hard then. If this
All
pops
right.
into his head, he is holy shit. He is fervent now.
We are going to go to Keith next for the closing soliloquies, and then we'll bring Gilfek up and we'll end the session. All right, Keith, go for it.
So Shihane is looking at the world of red haze at this point. Everything, he's trying his best not to take down on his companions, but every little thing they do is irritating. The way that Blogfear takes up too much space, the fact that Gilfake just doesn't seem to be able to reach up high enough, the fact that they're the general smell of the place, everything is just, every little thing is irritating. The fact that his clothing is dirty and rubbing at his skin and causing irritation there just seems to, everything seems to just, all the sensations coming into him are just driving him to the brink of destruction. And in his mind, he keeps seeing that damn mask. And he keeps thinking to himself, will it ever be satisfied? Will it ever be enough? And before it was fear. It was always terror that he felt whenever he saw this thing. Now it's just all that terror has been just fed into anger. And he just wants to get this thing over with, not because he wants the people of the area to be taken care of, not because he wants Reaper King to be satisfied, but because he wants to shove that smug mask down Aramoth's throat, just to be able to turn to just rid himself of this this thing that has plagued him so badly.
And now, let us see into the mind of Gilfek.
With his current shadow corruption, would it have any effect on his mind at this point with 4 shadow corruption?
With 4 and
11 spirit?
11 spirit, no, not yet. It,
All right,
Oh, I didn't ask that. What about Blogbear has 3 and 7 spirit?
no, not yet for you
Okay,
as well.
good. Okay.
All right, so Gilfek, still keeping his wits about him, still himself, thanks back to that smile, much like Blogbear did, that Shihan had, and kind of crosses his mind is not right. He knows that he feels that he knows Shihan. He thinks to himself, Shihan is a good man. He is a good friend. They've known each other for some time now, and he knows that Shihan's better than this. The Shihan he knew wouldn't burn someone alive. The Shihan he knew wouldn't revel in such slaughter. He thinks, perhaps, maybe he's wrong. Maybe Shihan isn't the man he thought he was. But then he remembers that ghost talking to him. He couldn't understand a word they were speaking, and he is convinced that it did something to him. And then he thinks about himself. And he thinks about Blogbeer. And he thinks about how they've just been brutalizing and slaughtering people right alongside Shihan this whole time. They haven't started to revel in it. Well, maybe Blogbeer a little. But they haven't gone to the lengths Shihan has started to go to. And he's thinking, when do we draw the line? That blood sacrifice was too much. And if something like that comes up again, then he's going to have to do something. He's not going to be able to sit there and let it happen. There has to be a line that has to be drawn. He wants to find out what happened to his son. He wants to help Blogveer find his love. But if it's going to cost them all their souls and their sanity, then Gilfek has finally made his decision. He knows where the line is going to be drawn, and he knows when it's not worth it anymore. And he's going to take a stand if it comes to it, and say enough is enough. And from now on, he's going to attempt to be a little more merciful, a little more compassionate. He understands that he's still going to, people are going to die, and they might even die by his spear, but he's not going to revel in it. He's not going to be as cold about it. And he just is starting more than ever to long for a day where he can put his spear down again.
Beautifully done, my friend. And at that, we will end the session. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to session 10 of the Reaper King. We will be back next week, same time, same place. Be there or be square, everybody. All right. Good night, everybody.